Afternoon, welcome to sunny Malahide in North Dublin. Yes, you heard correctly, sunny Malahide for the third and final men's T20 International between Ireland and England for the Token Phi Trophy. You might remember back on Wednesday there was a 4-wicket victory for England in the opening match. A total washout on Friday, but delighted to say we have blue sky, fluffy clouds, sunshine, pretty heavy outfield, but it looks as though we're going to start on time at 1:30. Story of the toss, similar one to the one on Wednesday. The toss was won by Jacob Bethel. He has decided to bowl, so Ireland will be batting. A couple of changes for each team. For Ireland, there's a debut for 21-year-old left-arm spinner Ben Callets. Also coming in, another spinner, a young White as well for Ireland. So Ben White starts. So it's White and Callets in for Ireland, making way. George Dockrell and poor Graham Hume, who took a bit of a tanking on Wednesday but battled back and took 2 late wickets. There's a debut as well, a T20 debut for England bowler Sonny Baker, who of course had that unhappy one-day international debut against South Africa. Also coming into the England 11 is batter Jordan Cox. He's one of their many wicket-keeping options. Making way for them, Sam Curran and Will Jacks. Later on in the programme, well, I'm afraid we've lost our English voice from Wednesday and Friday. Stefan Schemmelt has gone to prepare for his 8-week spell with the Ashes Tour for England, so hopefully Stefan is listening to us. But we'll hear later on from Peter O'Reilly and fellow former Ireland international Greg Mullins. Delighted to say, former Ireland captain, man resplendent in his shades, sitting alongside me in the commentary shed, which is not leaking today, which is good news for Kyle McCallan. Kyle, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Michael. It's great to be here.
You were part of the glory days of 2007 in the West Indies when the great Irish cricket story really started for the world. There's been a few upsets. There was an upset that year with Pakistan. Wonderful performances, great memories. The odd victory over England, of course. Wednesday's victory for England was England's first in T20 cricket, men's T20 cricket against Ireland. Can Ireland pull it back today?
Oh, listen, I've no doubt they can. I think they'd be very heartened by their performance on Wednesday. It's a pretty well-known fact there hasn't been a tremendous amount of international cricket for the boys, and the fact that they performed so well, cold, so to speak, and it's autumnally cold here in Malahide today. I'm looking at the outfield, and we're in horse racing country. I would say it's probably good to soft, but
it's taking a stud out there.
It's taking a stud, but I would say that the Irish boys were heartened, and they will be looking to build on what was a pretty good performance against a very strong England side. An England side with 4 wicket-keeper batters in the side. Unique, an England side with 4 wicket-keepers in it.
196 for 3 Ireland were. That was the main foundation of that was a tremendous third-wicket partnership of 123 between Harry Tector and Lorcan Tucker. But with this England batting lineup, we've talked so much about Phil Salt and what he can achieve and hit the ball very hard. And you've still got Butler and Bethel. You've Jordan Cox looking to make an impact in T20 cricket. I mean, Ireland need to put something towards 250, don't they, for England to try and chase 250 plus?
Well, Malahide's a hard ground to defend. I think they'll take great heart from the fact that England got off to such a start, that the fact that they took 6 English wickets. And when you look at the English side, you've obviously got the powerhouse there of Salt and Butler at the top, but it's relatively inexperienced in international terms. When you get down into the middle, you've Cox, you've Rian Ahmed, Tom Banton has been very successful for Somerset, but there's perhaps a little chink of inexperience there, that if Ireland can get runs on the board and perhaps get Salt and Butler early, who knows?
That's an easy thing to say. 74 for the first wicket, Salt and Butler on Wednesday in just 28 deliveries. That was a bit scary for Ireland fans.
Very, very much so. You have Matthew Humphreys with the new ball there. I think we very much miss the experience of Mark Adair. It would be interesting to see that Mark makes the ball talk a little bit with the new way. He's a wicket-taking threat. So it's a pretty inexperienced Ireland bowling lineup, and when you're coming up against an in-form Phil Salt and Josh Butler at any stage, it's a very daunting task.
Talk about the 2 men coming into the Ireland team today, the 2 Bens, Ben White and Ben Callets, Vancouver-born, South African and Namibian background, now qualified for Ireland.
Yeah, we're just saying there he's been around the Commonwealth, hasn't he now? But Ben Callets has played a lot of cricket in the Northern Cricket Union. He's somebody I don't know a tremendous amount about, but left-hander in the middle of in the middle order is helpful, and is a power hitter from what I can gather. So it'll be interesting to see how Ben goes. And obviously Ben White, I think the talk was that the spin was more challenging to perhaps get away when the ball got a little bit older. And England will be pleased they've won the toss. I would say the pitch I think was a little bit too paced at the outset and got better throughout the day. And I think given the damp conditions that there've been over the last few days, I would anticipate that it'll be much the same today.
One of the comments, one of the opinions voiced on the Ireland bowling attack at Wednesday is a little bit one-paced and a little bit lacking in variety. Yeah,
absolutely. And in T20 cricket, what you need is mystery. You have Adil Rashid here who can bowl. He spins the ball both ways. You need that, and you need raw pace. And in bringing in Sonny Baker, England have got that. Ireland lacked a little bit of that. But with Ben White coming into the side and Gareth Delaney now bowling leg spin, there's perhaps a little bit more of that.
Poor old Sonny Baker, great character, very chatty, great fella, but he suffered one of the horror show ODI debuts with a golden duck and none for 76 off 7 in the opening game against South Africa. He'll be on to put that right. He doesn't want to feature in any more websites, does he?
No, I don't think he does, but I think looking at the way international sides are picked nowadays, I think that probably character, personality as well as performance very much come into it, and the fact that he does have that skip in his step and that smile on his face, he seems to enjoy the challenge, and he didn't back off even though he was going for a lot against South Africa. He took the ball in his hand. It wasn't that he disappeared off the third man or fine leg and didn't want the ball. I think that probably says a lot about him as a character. And listen, as an Irish man, I will hope that perhaps he has a little bit more of a disappointing day today. But from a cricket point of view, you always want to see guys who are making their way in the game do very well.
What's this pitch like here at Malahide?
Yeah, the pitch, unfortunately I played on it in the old days when the square was facing a different direction. The pitch here is good. It always looked a little bit like green and grassy on top, but it was always good pace and good carry. And when you look at the ground, the ball travels very quickly over it. As a bowler, it's almost like an upturned saucer.
And the straight boundaries aren't the longest, are they?
No, they're not the biggest. And as a spinner, you look at, I was watching Liam Dawson in the warm-up and the length that he ball into the pitch here. Once you venture up too much and you give that ball a little bit too much air, I think you're going to see it disappear back over your head.
One of the things we have to say about Malahide, that pretty much every seat that is filled here by a spectator and every hospitality chair and table has to be brought in. Everything has to be built. There's a clubhouse away on our left hand side, but everything else is not a permanent fixture. There's talk about building some sort of permanent ground in Abbottstown. Is that important for Ireland? Will they lose Malahide's quite an easy place to get to from the centre of Dublin. Abbottstown maybe not quite so.
No, I think that's a lot of there's been a lot of debate and a lot of discussion in and around Abbottstown. The fact that we would have a full-time permanent stadium will certainly, I would imagine, save Cricket Ireland substantially when it comes to hosting international cricket. The High Performance Centre is most certainly based out there, so it would be a home for the players. I think from a spectator point of view, I drove from Belfast this morning. You're straight down the motorway, you're off at Malahide, there's train service to Malahide. Malahide is a quaint, beautiful little village, and when you look at the ground here today, it's an absolute picture. So listen, there's pros and cons to everything, but the fact there's going to be lights, permanent stadium, tailor-made to the needs of Irish cricket, I would anticipate that the powers that be perhaps can have a home there, but a little like counties play some matches as outgrounds and out matches. That might be the sort of the meet in the middle.
Yeah, it's expensive to set up a fixture here at Malahide, isn't it? And at Stormont too.
It's colossally expensive, and it almost sometimes commercially it doesn't make sense then, but it's important when we get teams like England here that you get a packed house, the sun's shining, it's going to be a great day, a great advert for Irish cricket, and the rest will look after itself.
Yes, a 4,500 sellout here in Malahide. Plenty of England fans have made the trip over, I suspect, for the week. England as well, they're watching as young children are being presented to the crowd. Wonderful, wonderful feel here. Spectators still coming in to the stands all around us. We're sort of an interesting position at Cow Corner if the batter is taking a stance at the Malahide Castle, and it really is beautiful. Ed Joyce is ringing the bell. Yes, former commentator. He sat in here with us for a couple of days. Lovely fellow, former England and Ireland batter. He's ringing, or has just rung, the Roy Torrens bell, and we're going to see, I suspect, we're not going to have any problem with the weather. That could be a fatal mistake on my part. Our umpires today, they've been shuffled around as well. We're going to have Aidan Seaver and Mark Hawthorne with Johnny Kennedy on TV duties and a cap We're seeing on the replay the recorded image of Sonny Baker being presented with his red T20 cap. A wonderful moment for him. And I think we're just going to be getting the teams out now, and very shortly we'll have the anthems. 21-year-old Jacob Bethel. We've heard all about the fact that he's the youngest ever England captain in an international match. And Paul Stirling, who's done this so often. And the interesting thing, they briefly swords at Warwickshire not so long ago. And Paul Stirling with a white number 1 on the back of his green jersey. The two sets of players making their way out. I wonder how Ben Callets is feeling. He's wearing 72, and he's making his international debut at the age of 21, same age as Jacob Bethel this afternoon. Do you remember your debut back in the, when was it, Cal? 1970s?
It certainly feels that way, Michael. I most certainly do. Against Wales in a 2-day international at Rathmines. A very different set of circumstances to what Ben Callett faces as he stands for the anthem.
Of Ireland's call. The odd empty seat to be seen around the ground here, but the pre-match activity is drawing to a close, and we're about to start with Ireland being invited to bat like they were on Wednesday. And just a reminder of the two teams. It's Paul Stirling and Ross Adair to open the batting for Ireland. Then we expect it'll be Harry Tector, Lorcan Tucker, the wicketkeeper, Curtis Camphor, Ben Callets, the debut boy, Gareth Delaney, Barry McCarthy, Matthew Humphreys, Craig Young and Ben White. England with a couple of changes, with Baker and Cox coming in, and we anticipate, of course, they'll have Phil Salt and Josh Butler, the wicketkeeper, opening the batting. Then it'll be Captain Jacob Bethel, Jordan Cox, Rian Ahmed, Tom Banton, Jamie Overton, Liam Dawson, Adil Rashid, Luke Wood and Sonny Baker. England taking to the field, warm round of applause. Their lovely scarlet tops with the white numbers and the dark blue trousers. And the huge disappointment on Wednesday, or on Friday. I don't think it was a major surprise, the forecast. The weather apps these days, Cal McCallan, very accurate, but I think we're set fair today. It might be the odd skiff of rain, but just a very, very odd skiff of rain. And here they come, wearing number 15, Ross Adair. who on Wednesday made 26. He was caught by Salt off Dawson, and Paul Stirling, who was looking good until caught in the boundary by Will Jackson off the bowling of Adil Rashid. He made 34 off 22. But it was that partnership between Tector and Tucker that was the foundation for Ireland's total of 196 for 3. Ireland will be looking surely to equal that, Kyle, or go beyond the 200 mark and really set England a tougher target. But that's easy, very easy, sitting here saying that.
It certainly is. It's an easy game from here. Just having a little look at the England field. 2 slips, and their third man is going to be up at 45 with Phil Salt here just in front of us at sort of a deep backward point. It's going to be Sonny Baker with the new ball.
He'd be forgiven for having the odd butterfly, wouldn't he, after what Aidan Markham did to him?
Absolutely, would he? He'd nearly be as forgiven for having the butterfly that you and I will when Tector and Tucker start to bat together. A commentator's nightmare, dare I say.
It wasn't quite as bad as the old Northern Irish hockey tournament, the Harp Kirk Cup, which always tested the dentures. So here we go, Sonny Baker from the Castle End, the Malahide Castle End, and he'll be bowling to Ireland captain Paul Stirling. Familiar figure, there's power in those arms, and he will be batting at this near end, the Malahide village end. And here comes Baker, right arm over into Stirling, and a miss. Lovely opening ball by Baker, and I think that's a few of those butterflies already evaporating from the Baker stomach.
Yeah, very good start. Positive intent from Paul Stirling, but no doubt Josh Butler behind the stumps there with Jamie Overton at slip will be very keen to see that ball hit just take Paul Stirling's outside edge.
Paul Stirling, all the little adjustments and little quirks as he sets himself up once more. Little shuffle from Sonny Baker, a little hop and a skip before he begins his run up proper, and he's into Stirling, and that's caught Paul Stirling. That struck him, an ungainly looking shot, and Baker, a little bit of a smile on his face as he walks back to his mark.
Yeah, Baker has his 2 fielders outside the ring at deep backward point and sort of just deep square leg. Paul Stirling coming across on the off stump to try and use the angle, but perhaps just done perhaps for a little lack of pace there.
Big Jamie Overton, all 6'5" of him. He's now hands on knees waiting for Baker from the far end into Stirling, third delivery, and again that's a play and a miss down the leg side and signalled wide by the umpire. So Ireland's first run is a wide of Sonny Baker's third delivery.
A small splattering of applause around the ground as Ireland open their account. Umpire Mark Hawthorne, the most experienced international umpire, wearing pink. A little bit of a clash with the England red, and a change in the field. Michael,
yeah.
Captain is bringing himself across into the offside just to strengthen the offside field. It's not the captain, it's actually Liam Dawson coming across the cover.
So Stirling still to put bat on ball. Baker running towards him. Butler goes down behind the stumps, and that's forced out of the offside square, and a tumbling dive and a save by Rian Abed pings it in, and Stirling still waiting to get off the mark. Goes up and does a little bit of gardening, perhaps a word to Ross Adair. Ross Adair, of course, brother of Mark Adair. Ross getting a very late introduction to international cricket, first professional contract at the age of 30. Former Ulster rugby player, won 1 cap for Ulster, scored a try, then got an injury, fell out of love with rugby as Baker's in. Stirling drives that through the offside square of the wicket. They're going to come back for 2. Is it going to reach the boundary? It's slow out there, and a diving stop and a save, and they've come back for 3, and that's an excellent bit of chasing by Phil Salt.
Yeah, nice shot from Paul Stirling. I think probably came off the toe and just reinforces perhaps what I was thinking after the last delivery. It just seems it's quick through the air, but it's just a little bit sticking in the pitch here.
We did have a lot of rain on Friday, overnight rain here as well in County Dublin.
And a good stop from Phil Salt on the boundary brings Ross Adair on the strike. Ireland up and running.
Ireland, the 2 right-handers at the top of the order. Ben Callis, left-hander, he'll come into the middle of the order on his international debut. The man with the interesting background, Phil Salt. He's got a little bit of towel to dry his hands, so there's obviously still dampness on the outfield as Baker's in. Adair's playing a miss. He's late on that, and that's through to Joss Butler. We were saying on Wednesday, Kyle, that Adair's very much a see ball, hit ball sort of fella.
Yes, he is, absolutely. He's a dangerous player. It's a little bit ungainly, this. He's just lost his shape. He stayed leg side of it.
Swipe.
Yeah, and he's lost his shape completely. I think he was probably targeting the leg side. But again, the two Irish openers showing positive intent. But again, they'll have to marry that with timing and technique.
Power play, just 2 fielders permitted outside the circle in the opening 6 overs. As Baker is into Adair, steps down the wickets, hits that away, through, extra cover for 4.
Beautiful shot. Just what we're saying, timing and technique. Ross Adair has used his feet, came down, kept his shape, and thrashed that over it, over the top of extra cover, and the ball is raced away. It's a beautiful cricket shot. Such a contrast between that and the last one.
8 off Baker's opening over in T20 international cricket. Adair is 4, Sterling is 3, Ireland 8 without loss. Lovely blue sky over our heads, wispy white clouds.
I know there's a time between overs now.
Oh yes,
working in the background. I've never seen that before, Michael.
Luke Wood is going to hold the second over. That's just to hurry things along.
I'll be interested to see how Luke Wood goes. He will look to pitch the ball up and try and swing it back into the Irish right-handers, and that may well work into the Irish opening batsmen's advantage from the point of view of the fuller I think you go on this pitch with the new ball, the more it might be easier to hit through the line.
Wood was no wicket for 24 off his 3 overs in the game that we played on Wednesday. Remember, a complete wipeout because of the weather on Friday, and that victory on the Wednesday was England's first over Ireland in men's T20 international cricket, albeit there haven't been too many fixtures. Wood is into Sterling, and he's hit that high in the offside. He's carved that away, and that's going to be 1-2 bounces into the boundary rope. So welcome back to the game, Luke Wood. Sterling whacks him for 4.
Yep, Luke Wood is just looked like he lost his run up there. He was overstretching on his run up, but when he let go, he started the ball where he probably wanted to, but no swing with the Paul Sterling. Very, very dangerous on a pitch like this in conditions as they are today.
As my producer reminded me on Wednesday, Paul Sterling is second in the all-time boundaries in men's T20 international cricket. He will keep us right if he approaches the top spot behind Rohit Sharma. Is that a nod? A nod. We like to keep the producer happy. Luke Wood, left armour, and that's just pushed forward by Sterling, and it's fielded there by Liam Dawson. And it mid-off, short mid-off, or short mid-on.
An encouragement for Luke Wood. That ball is just shaped back to Paul Sterling. Bring Liam Dawson into play. A lot straighter. It's just come back in off the same. Paul's just, you can see the slowness of the pitch. I don't think it's necessarily coming on. Length is going to be the key today.
Man with a very stylish haircut, Luke Wood. Pacey run up. Whippy action, and it's deflected down the leg side, and that's a good bit of running by Ross Adair. They scamper through for the single. Was that off the bat or off the pad? It's off the pad, so 1 more to the Irish total. They move on to 13 without loss. Sterling's on 7 from 7. Adair 4 off 2. 5 off the Wood over, the second of the innings. Still a few latecomers, I think, making their way to their seats all around us. Some rather pessimistically have got anoraks on. Maybe they've been stung in the past, but certainly at the moment it's not sun cream weather, but it's bright sunny. There was a chilly breeze when we arrived here at the ground at about 10:15 earlier, but certainly very pleasant viewing conditions considering we're 21st of September. 21st September in Ireland, you can get any sort of amount of different weather conditions. Wood is in, left-hander. That's not a great shot by Adair into the ground. No run. Pinged back to Butler. No slips for Luke Wood. What do you think? What sort of target do you think in an ideal world would Paul Sterling have in his head, Cal McCallan?
I certainly think they'll be looking to at least replicate the 200 that they, the 196 that they got in the first T20 game. I don't think conditions are going to be ideal for batting, but against an English side that has the depth of batting that England have, Ireland are going to need to try and be upward of 200.
Adair, bat raised. Wood is in. He tries to swing out behind square on the onside, misses it completely through to Butler. So another dot ball. We see some of the England flags around the fences are away to our right, so plenty of people have travelled. Nice little trip, isn't it? For a 5, 6, 7 day trip to Dublin in September.
Well,
Kids are back to school.
I could certainly recommend Malahide as for its hospitality. Beautiful part of Dublin, just on the estuary here. Great hospitality. Some nice restaurants, some certainly lovely bars.
Sharma 588 boundary, Sterling 562. Wood is in, slightly shorter delivery, pushed off his hip by Ross Adair. They've come through for an easy single. And Adair moves on to 5 from 5, Sterling 7 from 7. And there were 6 off the opening look. Wood over, second over of the innings, Ireland 14 without loss.
I think England will be very happy with their start. You know, Ireland haven't got away, and certainly 7 runs per over the course of this game would leave Ireland very short. So Ross Adair and Paul Stirling showing lots of positive intent.
Certainly seem a very happy bunch, this England side. The great crack on Friday when there was no sign of any cricket play. They were doing their keepy up football activity. Was that a thing? Was football a thing for you, or did you predate the football interest of cricketers? As Sonny Baker starting a second over, smashed away for 6, is it? I think that cry from the home supporters might tell you that Ross Adair has hit that ball for 6. Lovely connection, and you can hear what the home fans think of that. Great shot.
Beautiful shot. Really the definition of stand and deliver.
Not much footwork,
but an immensely strong guy, an athletic guy. He's trusted his timing and he stood, and that is a wonderful shot over mid-off. And just what the Irish side needed. Now they're upwards of 10 and over once again.
Adair, feet quite wide apart at the crease. Let's see what Baker can do in reply to this. Baker's into Adair and he's struck him. He's forced him back. Struck him. I think it maybe came off the pad or a deflection off the bat. An uncertain looking shot from Adair. So Baker back, just asking a few questions of the Irish opener.
Yeah, nice reply from Sonny Baker. Just bowled it back of a length hard into the wicket, and it didn't really get up a lot, and wrapped Ross Adair on the knee roll.
Adair on 11, Sterling on 7, Ireland up to 20 after the opening 14. They've moved Salt square of the boundary in the offside, and Ahmed coming into gully as Baker is in to Adair. He's hit that high in the air. Is there a fielder underneath it? No, there's not. There's going to be a chase back. They've come for one. It's almost plugged in the outfield, that odd shaped boundary rope. They prevent the boundary to England, but that's 2 more for Ross Adair. There's an odd shape to the boundary because there's a hump. I think it might be tree roots under the ground, but there's an odd shape to the boundary on the far side. We heard Ed Joyce talking about he didn't like fielding in that part of Malahide. But 2 more for Ross Adair, who went aerial with that one. It's a very positive start by Ireland here. Interesting start between these two sides. Ireland need another big partnership from somebody today. That's another good straight hit by Ross Adair. Lovely shot along the ground, and that's another 4.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot. After that first ball, we were critical of the fact that Ross Adair lost his shape. He's just trusted his timing. He's playing very nicely, and this is what we see a lot of in domestic cricket. He's an immensely strong guy, hits through the line, and once you beat the outfield, or once you beat the infield here in Malahide, there's no stopping it, despite the wet weather we've had over the recent few days.
So Ross Adair is out scoring the Ireland captain. Adair 17, Sterling 7, Ireland 26 without loss. In the 3rd over, this is the 3rd match in the Tokenfy Trophy 3-match series. England 1 up, washout on Friday. Baker is in to Adair. He's pushed that out on the offside, fielded by Rian Ahmed, no run.
Yeah, very well bowled by Sonny Baker. There's a change in the field there where the cover sweeper has come in, so there's now no protection on the offside. We've now got a man at deep mid-wicket and a man at deep backward square leg, so he cannot afford to be off the stumps here. So I think he's just going to look the ball back of a length and nip that ball back, just attack the stumps.
Baker's T20 number 60. For those of you who take great interest in these things, I'm never quite sure. Do you get to choose your number, or is it just handed to you? An odd little hop and a skip Baker has before he starts his run up, and he's into Adair. He steps back and smashes that for 6. That hits the Toblerone, and that's 6 runs on the offside. So Ross Adair, well, it's signalled a 4, I think the Irish fans on this near side might have thought that hit the Toblerone as it went through. Signal to 4, but either way, another boundary for Ireland. So Ross Adair racing to 21 off 11. Ireland 30 without loss off the opening 3 overs. Sterling's on 7.
Yes, 16 runs off Sonny Baker's second over, and that is signalled a change. It's an interesting change. The England captain is going to go to spin early in the piece in the power play. Liam Dawson going to come now from the Malahide Road end.
Took the wicket of Adair on Wednesday to Liam Dawson. It was 1 for 39 off his 4 overs. We're seeing a replay of that Adair boundary. Yeah, just bounced in front. I was maybe had my green tinged glasses on there, Kyle. Have to be strictly neutral today. We haven't got an English voice in the box today. Apologies for that. But at the moment, Ireland started well, 30 without loss off the opening 3 overs. And Liam Dawson, hugely experienced cricketer. Maybe he didn't expect to have this sort of second wind to his international career that he has. And he's about to come on, and he will be. Paul Stirling's not happy with his bat, so out come a selection of replacements for him to choose from.
Cricket bags must be exceptionally heavy these days. You know, the guys.
Are those all Stirling's bats? Are those sort of? Because yes, you should see him. Yes, you should see him brand, doesn't he?
They'll be numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm sure he has some more.
Back in our day, you had to borrow somebody else's bat if your own went AWOL.
They might have lasted me my career, Michael.
Absolutely.
I'll be interested to see how the guys go here, because Ross Adair was out playing across the line to Liam Dawson in the first T20, whereas Paul Stirling just stayed inside it, used the slowness of the pitch to hit him over the offside.
The left arm spin of Dawson now. He's in. Sterling's back a little bit. The producer's fiddling with the settings again. I knew there was a reason for him. So I now sound as if I'm far too loud in my own headphones. There we are. Nothing off the opening delivery. Is that a little tickle from Stirling? The England fielders are up. Nothing from the umpire, but they're convinced that Stirling has edged that to Jos Buttler. They're going to see. Yes, they're going to go for the. Are they going to go for the? They are going to go for the review. The England fielders are gathered around. They're convinced there was a little edge there from Paul Stirling to give Dawson the opening wicket here at Malahide. They've signalled for the review that'll be looked at by Johnny Kennedy.
I'm a body language expert here, and Paul Stirling is the very definition of innocence here.
Right. That doesn't mean very much, does it? It doesn't affect the video, does it? Well, what Stirling's body language is like. We're sitting here in the commentary shed. We have a monitor, and I'm not sure if we're going to see the replay. Decision pending, says the big screen here at Malahide. Ross Adair and Stirling are having a little chat. The England team are huddled round. They're expecting OUT to come up on the big screen. We're not seeing the replay here in the commentary shed. The spectators aren't seeing anything either. But certainly Dawson was convinced we are going to see the replay now. Cal McCallan.
Nice piece of bowling. Paul Stirling looking to target the offside, and he's come a long way. Leg side of the ball. Liam Dawson has followed him beautifully. And
Buttler was up immediately. Dawson immediately signalled for the replay, and there is a little snick there, and Paul Stirling is going to be gone, I would have thought. There's definitely a snick on ultra edge.
Yeah, out is going to be the decision.
Were
you a walker in your day, Michael?
I didn't used to be, and then I changed, but Stirling's gone. Paul Stirling's gone. He's edged to Jos Buttler off the bowling of Liam Dawson. Stirling's gone for 7 off 8 deliveries. Ireland in the 4th over are 30 for 1.
And credit to the young England captain having the courage to go to his left arm spinner in the power play, and it has certainly bore fruit for him.
That's a big wicket for England. Stirling can, on his day, take apart any international attack. He's got his helmet off, got a bit of a scowl on his face, and Stirling is trudging off, and he's going to be replaced by Harry Tector. Tector, part of that 3rd wicket partnership last Wednesday that put together 123. Tector finishing with 61 not out of 36 deliveries. And he's just marking his mark at the far end, the castle end. Still a very odd empty seat here, but otherwise a 4,500 sellout in North County Dublin. And Dawson has struck for England early in his opening over, the start of the fourth over. Tector with 13 on his back, just looking at the fielders around him. Tall man, athletic figure, great cricketing family, the Tectors. Dawson's in, Tector's driving in the offside, and he's off the mark with a single.
Yeah,
fielded there at long off by Tom Banton.
Harry Tector, long levers, one of Ireland's best all-format batsmen.
It was a little bit unfair on Isabel Joyce during the pre-match interviews. She had to interview both Harry Tector and Jimmy Overton, possibly the two tallest players in the park. That's forced away off his legs by Ross Adair, was fielded by Overton himself, all 6'5" of him. No run for Ireland. Ireland 31 for 1 in the fourth over. Tector off the mark, and Adair is on 21. Bit more pressure on Adair now that his skipper's gone. Dawson is in. That's a smashing cover drive by Ross Adair, and another 4 runs for Ireland, and another 4 for Adair.
Yes, Ross Adair playing beautifully here, muscled over the covers. Not a bad piece of bowling. Liam Dawson's bowling it quickly, bowling it into the pitch.
Seeing the replay, just again the minimum footwork, but a good swing of the bat, good piece of timing by Ross Adair. Adair moving on to 25 off 13, Ireland 35 for 1. He's in, and he's just pushed that onto the onside. He's set off quickly, but it's fielded by Overton, and an easy single for Adair puts Tector. Well, that's the end of the over. So Adair holds on to strike. He's in 26 off 14. Tector on 1. Ireland 36 for 1. And I think Kyle McCallan is going to make way and be replaced by his former international colleague, who we heard from, I think, briefly on Friday because there was such a lack of cricket. But with Adair on 26 off 14 and Tector 1 off 1, delighted to say, joining us again in the comedy box, former Ireland international Greg Mullins. Greg, hello there. We're not talking about the weather, which is always good.
No, well, I did join you the other day, and we were looking at plenty of rain, so it's lovely to be out here in Malahide looking at cricket, and a positive start for the Irish team.
And we're seeing now as Wood is coming in from the far end, the castle end. That's a play and a miss by Adair.
Yeah, what I've really enjoyed so far is watching Ross Adair. Is probably the battle of the power plays the other day, and whilst we didn't lose a wicket in the power play, we only scored 49, I think, in the power play. England really did beat us in the power play, scoring, I think, 84 runs. So here today, so far, Ross Adair is really upped it.
So look, we're switching ends. He's replaced Sonny Baker at the castle end, and he's bowling now to Ross Adair. Slower one. Adair has time to pull that behind square. Maybe should have given that more punishment. They come through for the single, and Ireland move on to 37 for 1. The start of the fifth over. Adair 27, Tector on 1. The sun is getting a little bit more bright. Delightful autumnal day here in Dublin. Tector just running down the pitch, removing a few little strands and a few little bits of mud. And as Cal McCallan was saying, he's a tall man, Tector, and he's tapping the crease, waiting for Luke Wood with his whippy left arm action coming in. Carves that away on the offside, just behind square. They race through the single, and Phil Salt, who's a brilliant boundary fielder, cuts off any danger of a second. So one more for Ireland, 38 for 1. 200 plus would be the target, Greg, would you say?
I absolutely think that with that England team, as Kyle mentioned, the strong batting all the way down, and whilst we got close to 200 the other day, certainly anything above 200 is something that we'll look to get. No score really above 200 is going to be a score that England will feel they won't be able to chase, but certainly for us to be competitive, we've got to be well above 200.
Phil Salt coming into the circle square on the offside, pulled behind square by Ross Adair. Fielded on the boundary, one more to Ireland. Not quite in control of that shot.
Yeah, what's been quite noticeable about Ross so far is anything sort of in his half, he's really latched onto. Anything,
stand and deliver, yeah.
Yeah, anything a bit short, he's probably struggled to get away with the same comfort. So I would expect a bit more short sort of stuff against Ross.
Adair 28, Tector 2. As we see Jordan Cox signing an autograph for a young fan on the boundary. Ireland 39 for 1. After 28 deliveries, 28 legal deliveries. And it's Wood. No wicket for 8 off his 1.4 over so far. He's in. He's bowling to Tector, forces that on the onside. Sliding take and no run for Ireland. But yeah, disappointment on Friday. There was a sellout on Friday as well, but I think plenty of fans didn't show up on Friday, well aware of all the bad news that the weather apps were demonstrating. But I think all the apps today show that we're set fair in Malahide. Maybe the hint of a minor shower, but that could well pass us by, which is good. Wood with his long run up. White cricket shoes flashing in the sunshine, forced behind square on the offside by Tector, where it's fielded by the new boy Baker. No run for Ireland, so at the end of the 5th over, Adair 28 off 17, Tector 2 off 4, Ireland 39 for 1. Former Ireland international Greg Mullins is alongside me in the commentary shed.
But how lovely, Michael, is it to see a full crowd here at Malahide, the sun beating down, young people enjoying Ireland playing cricket at home.
Your brother Jason's and
Jason is somewhere in the crowd, I think, with my son, my 2 nephews. So I could say my brother is looking after my son.
Are they all cricketers as well?
They all love the cricket. They play club cricket in Dublin, and they were all pretty keen to come out here.
Jason, former opener, former captain, wasn't he?
He was indeed.
Back in the day, seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? When you're going back pre-Bangalore and pre-West Indies. Back in the day, I remember watching the 1985 Australians in Downpatrick as a fan, the 91 West Indians in Downpatrick as a fan as well. Jamie Overton's going to be bowling. He's dropped that one short. It's gone high into the sky behind square, and that's going to one bounce, and that's going to be signalled 4 runs off Overton's opening ball to Ross Adair. He dropped that one short. It sort of flew up into the sky behind square on the onside. England fielder couldn't get it and it bounced into the rope.
Yeah, I think a modern way of batting these days is a lot of the batsmen sort of move outside the leg stump, try and hit it over extra cover. So I think Jamie is certainly going to follow the batsman here, sort of bowl that middle leg sort of line.
The towering Overton running away from us into Ross Adair. It's a slower ball and it's down the leg side and signalled wide.
Yeah, and there we see he is trying to keep it nice and tight on that sort of middle leg stump, and then just pushed it further down and bowled that wide.
1 for 40 Overton took on Wednesday off his 4 overs. Got the wicket, got a little, induced a little edge off the bat of Lorcan Tucker. Dismissed him for 55. Overton is in towards Adair. Adair's back, defensive shot. And there's no run. Ireland 44 for 1. Coming up to the end of the power play. Ross Adair, who when he hits the ball, he times it very well.
He certainly does. A former rugby player turned professional cricketer now for Ireland, so he certainly has the strength to clear the ropes.
Made the point that he's played rugby against Morrow, I told you, which is not a bad claim for an international cricketer. Overton is in. That hasn't been timed on the onside, but it's going to fall short, and they scamper through for the single. Tom Banton was racing to try and get that at mid-wicket, but was never going to reach him, and Ross Adair's got away with that one.
Certainly, I think it was probably lucky that he did mistime it. He might say if he did time it, it might have cleared him comfortably, but quite fortunate to fall a few metres short.
Yeah, I think if he'd timed that, might have gone further up into the sky, and Banton would have had time to get to it. So it's brought Tector on to strike, facing Overton, running away from us, 75 on his back. He's flashed that away behind on the leg side. Great stop and they've run through for a single, and that was great work there at short fine leg by the new boy Sonny Baker. Clipped that very hard, Harry Tector. Ireland move on 46 for 1, so they're approaching the half century, the tail end of the power play. The sun is back out. There's barely a cloud to be seen. A little bit of wind is moving the clouds away very quickly in Malahide. As Overton is bowling to Adair, and he beats them all ends up, and through to Joss Butler. Adair not fazed by that. Not a man of classical technique, but he's a hitter, and that's what Ireland need at the top of the order. They've lost Paul Stirling early on. I think a lot of the Ireland fans were coming here hoping that Paul Stirling might provide one of his dashing big innings, but it's not to be. Overton's into Adair, and he strikes Adair, and Adair practices the shot that he should have played. End of the 6th over, end of the power play. Adair's 33 off 22, Harry Tector's 3 off 5. That's 46 for 1 for Ireland, and Greg Mullins alongside me in the commentary shed.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. We sort of feel, having seen the game the other day, this power play seemed a bit more live in it, but here we are 3 runs short of the power play from the first game. Whilst we lost a wicket here, there were no wickets lost in the first game, so Ireland be maybe slightly disappointed they didn't sort of get to the sort of 55, 56 sort of runs after the power play.
Rian Ahmed is going to come on at the Castle End. Just bowled 1 over in the game that was completed on Wednesday, not for 9.
It was quite interesting watching Rian bowl there the other day, is how quick through the air he was. You know, we saw Adil Rashid bowls a bit more loop, but Rian really does push it through quite flat. Wicket to wicket, I would think, here.
Tector's on strike, Ahmed's in. Tector strikes him, drives him straight. Is he going to bisect those 2 fielders? Yes, he is. And that's 4 runs. Well struck, Tector.
Excellent start here by Harry. I think it's really important not to let the spinner settle. And certainly saw ball, hit it nicely down the ground for 4.
And the 50 is up for Ireland at the start of the 7th over, 50 for 1. Tector on to 7. That was a round of applause from the home fans. Ahmed's in. This drops it slightly shorter. Cut away by Tector for 1. It was fielded by Phil Salt. And that's 51 for Ireland. Behind all the temporary stands and temporary tents and hospitality marquees, there's lots of nice vegetation here in Malahide. Lovely trees. A lovely spot for dog walkers. And Ross Adair, not a convincing shot. That ball went down the leg side and is signalled wide from Rian Ahmed by umpire Hawthorne. He's the slightly shorter of the 2. Oh, I've got that right. Ahmed is in and pulled through mid-wicket, and that's taken. The catch is taken. Ross Adair is out. He didn't quite connect with that one, and the catch is taken by the man running in from mid-wicket, and Adair is out for 33 off 22, and Ireland lose their 2nd wicket, 52 for 2. Ahmed strikes.
Yeah, probably similar to his dismissal the other day. Mistimed a ball, his shot going across, and just mistimed to hit the toe of the bat and caught.
Jordan Cox was the man who took that catch running in, and so Adair, who looks so dangerous, has gone. Ireland 52 for 2 in the 7th over. And so the 2 men who put that century partnership together in the opening match, they have come together, because Lorcan Tucker, who finished on 55 on Wednesday, it's Tucker and Tector, the 2 T's. One with 13 on his bank, one with 3 on his bank. So Greg will just be looking to carry on from where they left off on Wednesday.
Absolutely, they had a great stand on Wednesday, and this is what the Ireland team will be looking here for them to continue if they're to challenge that 200 mark.
123 the partnership on Wednesday. That ball was well outside off stump, but Adair reached for it and didn't make full connection, didn't really get a great strike in the ball, and in the end Cox kept his eye on it, raced in, took a fairly simple catch. So it's Tucker on strike facing Rian Ahmed. That's a very correct back defensive shot. Stepping back, Lorcan Tucker. He's really developed into a very handy wicket-keeper batter for Ireland. A reliable man to come in. Ahmed, it's a reverse sweep, and Tucker didn't make any connection with that whatsoever. Attempted reverse sweep off his second delivery. So a few butterflies and a little bit of nervous jogging by Tucker. Jos Buttler standing up, of course, to Ahmed. And Tucker now. Bat raised high. Driving that in the offside. There's no run. So that's a very decent start by Rian Ahmed. 1 for 6 off his opening over. He got the wicket to fall there. And Ireland 52 for 2. Ross Adair having gone. Tector in the Tucker yet to score. 7 overs gone.
Yeah, it's interesting. It reminded me of Adil bowling the other day when first ball he bowled in the spell went for 6 and the next 5 deliveries went for 2, and here we are today, Rian going for 4 off the first ball and 2 more runs off the over and picking up that wicket. Really finished the over really well. The talk about Rian is he's booking visas to Australia at the moment. Hopefully going to be picked for England on the Ashes tour is the talk.
Adil Rashid, former World Cup winner. He's coming on from the village end. 1 for 36 off his 4 overs on Wednesday. It's a slow, loopy delivery. Attempted drive by Tector. I think he caught more of the pitch than he did of the ball. There's no run. Rashid, hugely experienced cricketer. Tector, tall man waiting for the ball to come to him. That should have been an attempted stumping from Buttler. Did Buttler miss that one? Not clean glove work. And Tector, I think, has got away with that. He was certainly out of his crease, and Buttler fumbled it slightly. Maybe see that at the end of the over. But Rashid, third delivery. Ireland 52 for 2. Tector's back and cutting that. They're scampering a single. He's running to the danger end as Tector misses the stumps, and they come through successfully for the single. And that was Rian Ahmed with the attempted run out.
But how lovely is it to see the sort of flight and guile of Rashid? A lot of leg spinners around the world bowl quick. I think Rashid certainly is not a bowler.
We're just seeing the replay, and Tector was struggling to get his foot back as Buttler didn't take the ball cleanly.
Maybe Buttler was beaten in the air too.
Lorcan Tucker certainly doing a bit of gardening. It's a damp surface here. There has been a lot of rain in Dublin the last week. Overnight rain as well. Obviously the pitch was covered. Heavy outfield. Tucker's back. He's cut that into the ground, and they've run through for a single. And Overton just tidying up there and getting the ball back to Jos Buttler. So 1 more to the total. Currently slow progress. 2 off Rashid's opening 4 deliveries. Tucker on 1, Tector on 9. Tucker off the mark. Ireland 54 for 2. It was a tremendous partnership on Wednesday. And Tector's, it's a drop catch. It's an attempted dive by, I think it was Liam Dawson there, as Tector sliced that to the man at Gully. And Liam Dawson got his hands to it, and I think he put it down. It was a tough one. Got his left hand to it, to Dawson. So, a life for Tector. Rashid is in, Tector's driving beautifully, but just for the 1 run. Into the covers and fielded, and so Rashid looking dangerous for England. 1 for 6 off his opening over. Tucker on 1, Tector on 10. Ireland 55 for 2 off 8. And we're going to see another change. Greg Mullins, his 4 overs have raced through. Delighted to say, award-winning journalist and author, former cricketer, fast bowler, man of many parts, Peter O'Reilly is going to come in and replace Greg alongside me here in the little wooden shed, where thankfully dripping rainwater is not an issue today. Hello Peter, good to see you again. How's things?
Great, thank you, Michael. Yeah, it's just clouded over a tiny bit, but lovely to be here watching the cricket after such a washout on Friday.
Yeah, I'll ask you what you think of Ireland's start so far, but it's Overton at the far end, the Castle end, bowling to Tector, who doesn't really get bat and ball there. There's no run.
My impression, first and foremost, is that England are bowling better today than they did. I've been really impressed, especially by Luke Wood. A sort of an assortment of bouncers, slower, quicker bouncers. They bowled their field much better, and that worked out really well. I thought getting Rian Ahmed in there after the power play, and he managed to get through his over for, I think, only 5 runs conceded.
Overton's in. Tector hasn't connected with that at all. It's gone straight down. That could have gone anywhere. Got a little bit big on him. Put it off the splice of the bat, and that could have gone into English hands. As it was, they were able to run through for a single, but not a convincing shot by Tector. Ireland 56 for 2, Tector on to 11. So Ireland are going to have to work for these runs, this partnership.
Yes, much more disciplined bowling. We've had 2 wide so far, but otherwise very disciplined.
Overton's into Tucker. He's pulled that away into the hands of the man at square leg. A little bit of a juggle by Luke Wood, but he finally takes the catch. He had a couple of goes of that. He has a rueful smile on his face, but the wicket has gone. The third Irish wicket is down, so it's not going to be a century partnership between Tucker and Tector. Tucker has pulled that ball into the waiting hands of Luke Wood, who dropped it once, dropped it twice. I think third or fourth time he clutched it to his chest, and Ireland are now 3 down. Tucker caught Wood, bowled Overton for 1 of 5, and suddenly this game has taken a bit of a turn for Ireland, Peter O'Reilly.
Yeah, that's a disastrous wicket for Ireland, if I'm being honest. Tucker and Tector, Ireland's 2 best players, the guys who did most to put that 196 run total together on Wednesday. He just never, in his short stay, Lorcan Tucker he wasn't allowed to get any rhythm going by the England bowling, and then he finally got a perfect length from Jamie Overton for that pick-up shot, but he just didn't come out of the middle, and straight. I don't think Luke Wood had to move to take that catch.
He did his best to nearly drop it, Peter. He was very relieved when he finally clutched it. Curtis Camphor's been moved up in the absence of George Dockrell. Camphor coming in at 5, Ireland 56 for 3. Camphor, bat raised, Overton's in. That's a faster delivery, pushed out on the offside by Camphor, and there's no run.
Yeah, he's done a few salvage operations before for Ireland, Curtis Camphor, and they really need him here.
Golden boy with bat and ball at times, Curtis Camphor.
Yeah,
remembering a spectacular debut he made during COVID times against England, and he's going to be asked to do a similar job today, because there's in T20 terms there's plenty of time for him to try and put something together with Tector. And he's put that into the sky, and he's picked out an area there on the onside where there's no fielder, and he's going to run through for 2. He went aerial, and Camphor's off the mark, 2 off 2. Ireland 56 for 3.
Not for the first time today, Michael. An Ireland batter has put the ball into the outfield, luckily away from a fielder's hands, but I think it's an indication mainly of how well England are varying their pace, but also that the ball seems to be just sticking in the pitch a little bit. It was definitely a good toss to win, I would say, for England.
Overton's in. That's a lovely strike by Camphor, but he's going to pick the man out on the boundary, and Camphor has gone, caught it long on. He only lasts 3 deliveries, and Ireland now 4 down for 58, and there's going to be no miracle from Curtis Camphor on this occasion, and England are taking control of this third T20 international in Malahide.
Difficult situation for a batsman coming in there in Camphor's position, in that he has to keep attacking, has to stay positive, and he had that sickening feeling when the ball comes out of the middle of the bat. But again, he didn't follow through on the shot, didn't go large, fairly flat hit straight to long on, and once again the fielder doesn't have to move to take the catch.
I think it was Tom Banton took the catch. So
this wasn't a great commentating change from an Irish point of view.
You're the opposite of the golden arm in terms of Irish cricket fans, Peter O'Reilly. But Another wicket falls.
I have a twofer so far.
Well, that's brought the new boy in, hasn't it? That's brought young Ben Callett, wearing 72. That's brought him to the crease. But he's at the wrong striker's end. At the end of 9 overs, Ireland 58 for 4. Watching all the chaos around him is this man, Harry Tector, who's on strike. Rian Ahmed it is from the village end. So England certainly ringing the bowling changes right through. We're going to see a replay of Curtis Camphor's shot that picked out Banton.
Yes.
Again, barely had to move. Luke Wood barely had to move from the square leg boundary, and Banton barely had to move from the long on boundary to take that catch to dismiss Curtis Camphor. So here goes Ben Callett. He's the left-hander, so Ireland look at the left-hand right-hand combination at the minute. He'd be forgiven for a few nerves, a 21-year-old born in Vancouver, and he's pressing forward. He's missed that one completely from Rian Ahmed. So there the butterflies are doubling in Callett's tummy. Ahmed back to Callett. It's a full toss pulled through mid-wicket, and it's fielded on the boundary by Wood, and Callett is off the mark.
What a nice
in
feeling.
international cricket for Ireland.
What a nice feeling for him. He just fed a full toss on his leg stump, and he was able to power it there to deep mid-wicket. He's off the mark.
It's always a slight irritation, isn't it, for a fielding side when they've a right-hand, left-hand combination. And it's Harry Tector now. Ahmed 1 for 8 off his 1.5 overs so far. Ireland on to 60 for 4 in the 10th over. Forward by Tector driving, and good stop on the offside, no run. We keep talking about Ireland looking to get past 200 at the moment. 200 feels a long way away.
It certainly does.
Ahmed is into Tector in the sunshine here. Tector has struck him very firmly towards long on, where it's fielded by Jamie Overton just for the single. That's a little bit of a low swipe by Tector, an effective shot.
Yes, out of the middle though.
That's brought Callett's back on strike. There's a slip in for the new boy. Watching now as this is the last ball of Ahmed's second over, and he's trying to sweep that off his pads and strike it firmly, but I think it took a whack off the toe end of the bat, or did it come off the pad? No, it came off the bat, so one more for Callett. At the end of the over he's 2 off 3. Jimmy Overton 2 for 10 off his 2 overs. Tector 13 off 17, and Ireland at the halfway stage, Peter O'Reilly 62 for 4.
Yes, and Rian Ahmed there bowls another tidy over, 4 runs from it, so he's 1 for 9 from 2 overs. These are very impressive figures by the England bowling, and Ireland just haven't been able to get any rhythm. It's kind of, you're hoping now that Tector can from an Irish point of view, they'll be hoping that Tector can bat the distance. He's got to stay positive, but really they can't afford to lose any more wickets.
Yes, I think so far a much more impressive bowling performance by England. That's Callett. Did he deflect that nearly onto the stumps of Adil Rashid? He's 0 for 3 off his opening over. The left-hander with a South African and Namibian background. Bat raised, and that's a full toss. He's pulled that away behind square on the leg side. They've come through for 2. Fielded by Sonny Baker and Callett. He's been fed a couple of full tosses now. That was scoring shots.
That was a gift for the new boy. Didn't manage to get all of it though. Just 2 runs. He's back on strike.
Callett's on to 4 off 5. Adil Rashid is in. He's trying to repeat the dose, but he struck in the pad. There's an ooh and an ah from the crowd. Callett is back on his feet.
Callett's brought in specifically to try and score runs in the middle overs with
came off his pad into his grill.
Oh.
Was the ooh, and I think if there's a nick, I think there might be a nick, or there might be damage to the helmet of Ben Callett. But that was what the ooh was all about. We see him with short blondish hair, rueful smile on his face as he's going to maybe receive a little bit of treatment, or just checking if there's any hint of sort of him being struck on the head. We know everything's so careful about concussion these days. I think they're looking at his helmet after that blow, as we're seeing a replay of some of Ireland's scoring shots. And the shot that Curtis Camphor put into the waiting hands of Tom Banton. But yes, concern for both Ben Callets and for the state of his batting helmet.
It seems like a protocol issue here, doesn't it? They've got to go through this protocol. It's hard to imagine that he suffered any serious injury there.
Just run through the Ireland cards so far here in the third T20 International. Paul Sterling, the captain, was caught Butler bowled Dawson for 7. Ross Adair was the second wicket to fall. He was caught Cox, Offrey and Ahmed for 33. Lorcan Tucker went caught Wood bowled Overton for 1. Curtis Camphor caught Banton bowled Overton for 2. Tector's 13 not out. Callets is 4 not out. He's fit to continue. I think they've deemed his helmet is fit to go back in his head. And there's 3 balls left in Adil Rashid's over. This is a shorter ball and whacked away. And that's going to be 4 runs from Ben Callets. So no damage from that blow onto his batting grill.
No, that was Adil Rashid's quicker ball, significantly quicker, banged in short of a length, and Callets was onto it impressively quickly.
Smacked it through mid-wicket. Callets, bat raised, pushing forward, deflecting it behind square on the onside, coming through for a single. So Callets just senses confidence levels increasing. Boundary does that for you. If you're a debutant to international cricket, brings Tector back in strike. Callets is 9 off 8. Tector 13 off 17. Ireland at the end of the 11th over, 69 for 4. Last ball of Adil Rashid's second over. He's into Tector, slower one. Tector had to wait for that and pull that through mid-wicket for a single. So we're seeing all sorts from Adil Rashid, who's not for 11 off his 2 overs. England, after inviting Ireland to bat, the Irish are 70 for 4 after 11 overs. Tector 14, Callets on 9.
Yeah, we don't have access to a speed gun here, but I'm guessing that last ball was in the 30 mile an hour range. Talking to Harry Tector actually after Wednesday's game, he said one thing that he has tried to do, he's worked on specifically, is trying to up his scoring rate against spinners early in the innings. At the moment, he's 14 from 18 deliveries, so he's a little bit behind. So he'll be feeling the pressure to both to stay in, but also to accelerate his scoring rate.
Rian Ahmed's third over, he's 1 for 10 off his opening 2. He's got the wicket of Ross Adair. He's bowling to Tector, who waited for that one, carved it away on the offside. He's beat the fielder, and that's 4 runs. Lovely shot from Tector.
You can hear the cheer. I think there was a welcome boundary for the Ireland spectators in this decent crowd.
Hint of relief in the applause as
I think
well.
There was, but you could also see there, Michael, the significant turn, if not quick turn, still plenty of turn there for the England, for Rian Ahmed, which is another difficulty that Ireland are having to contend with.
Tector waited for that one outside the off stump, and he's moved back on his feet and cut that away for a single.
Characteristic look up to the heavens there from Harry Tector, as if to say, I wanted more than a single from that.
A man who's seeking perfection brings the left-handed Ben Callets. He's on debut at the age of 21. Callets on 9. And of course the field change for the left-hander. And that's dropped short and pulled away by Callets behind square for a single. Still nice sunshine here. The temporary stands all around us. The white marquees, hospitality marquees. The press tent beside us.
It's a picture, isn't it?
It's lovely. Lovely bright sunshine. Well, it's chilly. It is the autumn. It is September, but a lot better than it was on Friday. Ireland in 76. He's gone big and he's gone high, and he's gone for a 6. Yes, he has, over mid-wicket. Lovely shot by Tector.
Something of a signature shot there for Harry Tector, getting his front foot well down, extending those levers. Slog sweep. Slog sweep's probably a little bit unkind. It was a controlled sweep over mid-wicket and comfortably clearing the rope.
And clearing Phil Salt as well, who was backpedaling, but he couldn't get to it. Tector, I think, confident after he struck it that it was 6 all the way. Ireland on to 82 for 4. Tector 25 off 21. Rian Ahmed 1 for 22. Tector waited for that one and put it out on the offside for a single.
Another quicker ball there from Ahmed. very short of a length. Probably relieved, I would imagine, that it only went for one. This leaves Ben Callets on strike for the final ball of the over.
83 for 4 Ireland. Callets waiting for it. He's gone big, he's gone high. I think it's going to fall short of the fielder who's dashing in. Yes, it has fallen short of him. Callets has got away with that. He gets the single. And at the end of the over, I think signs of relief all round here that Callets didn't become the 5th wicket. And Ireland at the end of the 12th over, 84 for 4. Peter O'Reilly is staying on. He's got a stay of execution. Tector is on 26 and Ben Callets is on 11. Oh, he is swapping over. We've dragged Cal McCallan, the former Ireland captain, out of the hospitality suite. He's got a nice cup of coffee in his hand, and Peter O'Reilly is away to put some words on a screen somewhere, I'm sure. And Cal McCallan is back with the score 84 for 4 with 8 overs left. Ireland just clinging on in this match at the minute. They're trying to put this partnership together, aware that when the odd wayward delivery comes, Cal, they've got to dispatch it. It's a big ask for young Callets on debut here. He's on strike as Overton is into him. He takes a step down the track. He pushes that down through mid on for a single.
Yeah, having watched from the side, I think the pitch is slower
than certainly Wednesday. Yeah,
and the English bowlers have bowled well to the conditions, and particularly Adil Rashid, when you watch him from the side, his subtle variation of pace is so good. You can't fault the two Irish batters. Callets and Tector they've been showing a lot of positive intent, particularly Ben Callets. He swings hard, just hasn't quite married that with timing at the moment, but doing okay.
Tector's on strike, trying to pull that away through the onside. It strikes him. Jamie Overton racing through the field, and there's no run. Overton 2 for 11 so far off his 2.2 overs. He's taken the wickets, quick fire wickets of both Tucker and Camphor.
Yeah, he's bowled very well. Tall, hit the pitch, and good variation of pace, and just making it very difficult for the Irish boys to line him up.
As I was saying earlier, 200 does feel a long way away at the minute, Cal. Harry Tector's on strike at this Malahide village end. Overton drops that one short, deflected and just short of all the almost waiting hands of Sonny Baker, and they scamper through for a single.
Again, another good example of what Craig Overton's done so well. He's hit the pitch with the pace off there. Harry's just tried to work it down to third man, no pace to do so, and he nearly picked out Sonny Baker. But yes, I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's a 200 pitch today. If you bowl well, but again, the English attack and the Irish attack are very different, and the English attack have bowled very well to the conditions.
Tector 27, Ireland 86 for 4 in the 13th. Callets has been struck. He nearly deflects the ball onto his own stumps. He's going to have to scamper down to the non-striker's end. Had that hit from Overton, Callets would have been out. Leg by signalled. That was crazy stuff, wasn't it?
All action.
The two batters meeting at the stumps.
Again,
Tector, Callets was concerned that the ball was going to fall onto the stumps, and I think if Overton had been more accurate in his throw, Callets was gone.
Yeah, good piece of running eventually, but I think the Irish batsmen have struggled with cross-bat shots. You know, the ball's not quite getting up, it's not quite coming on, and I'm just hoping that Craig Young, Barry McCarthy have been watching about the length that must be bowled on this pitch. 87
for 4. Overton is in to Tector, a slower one. Tector reaches for that one, pulls it through square leg for a single. Untidy throw coming in from Luke Wood. Josh Butler with his red cap on.
I have to commend Josh Butler. I played with Niall O'Brien, and had you thrown the ball anything other than perfect, you would get scowled at,
really?
and probably rebuked.
At the very least, a scowl.
With a few sort of adjectives thrown in,
yeah.
You know. So Josh Butler just seems to do it and get on with it, and so
yes.
on.
He's such a nice fella. He's far too nice a fella to be a wicket keeper. He's back now as Callets strikes that very nicely through mid wicket, but he's only going to pick up the single, fielded by Rian Ahmed. I always tried to make batters laugh, and when I was keeping wicket, I was never a great one for sledging or the verbals. The end of the over, end of 13 overs. Ireland 89 for 4, Tector 28 off 25, Callets 13 off 13, Ahmed 1 for 24 off his 3 overs here in the Malahide sunshine, where it's a It's a sunny autumnal day, but there's a hint of chill in the air. You just think, in a month's time it's going to be dark and wet and miserable, isn't it? There's still a little remains of summer here in Dublin.
Yeah, beautiful Dublin day. A large home crowd, but it's interesting. Lots of English flags around the stands here. We have got Smethwick, we've Wokingham, Bexley, Benfleet, so the Barmy Army are here as well.
Wokingham, yeah. Yes, there's a huge number of flags, and great trip, always a great sporting trip. Great trip to do anything in Dublin, isn't it? When you're over with your family or with your mates. And it's Dawson back at the village end. He's dropped that slightly outside off stump, and it's cut away by the left-handed Callets for a single. 1 for 7 so far off his 1.1 overs. The experienced Dawson, who got the first wicket to fall today. Sterling caught Butler, bowled Dawson for 7 off 9. Paul Sterling, so no fireworks from Sterling today. The rest of his colleagues going to have to put a total together. He's bowling to the right-handed Tector. He finds his edge, and it's fielded very sharply at short third.
Yeah, Liam Dawson a little bit Kashif Maharaj-like with the bandages on his hands when he bowls, but without a shadow of a doubt, there's turn. Ball just sticking on the pitch, a little bit of straightening there.
Over and onto the long on boundary. It's a reverse sweep. That's going to be into the waiting hands. That's not the greatest shot, because Harry Tector has gone. 28 off 26, and Ireland now are 5 down, and the home challenge here is fizzling out just a little bit. Ireland 90 for 5, maybe the reverse sweep, not the shot to play, and in the end the catch was easily taken, and well taken by Adil Rashid.
Yeah, Harry Tector throws his head up in despair. 28 from 27. Clever piece of bowling again, just a little bit of pace off. And again, it's very difficult when there's no pace coming off the pitch as well. Just you need to use on the reverse sweep. Really needs to use the pace on the ball. And it's great to see Gareth Delaney come to the pitch. He's been troubled so much with some significant injuries, a significant facial injury during the summer.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing.
Great to see Gareth Delaney back, and Ireland could very much do with a Gareth Delaney cameo.
So a second wicket for Liam Dawson here in Malahide. He's 2 for 7, and Ireland need a partnership if this third match in the T20 International Series is not going to fizzle out into a very, very straightforward English victory. That's the way it feels at the moment, though, when you've got the likes of Salt, Butler, Bethel, Cox in that England batting lineup. Ireland are struggling at the moment. So Liam Dawson just having a word over it and wanting to know whether he wants to be brought in a little bit for the new man Delaney with his bat raised. Butler of course standing up. Delaney, I think it deflects that away off his pads on the onside. Is it going to be signalled a leg by? Yes it is.
Just looking at the scorecard, Michael, the Irish batters bar Ross Adair have really struggled to score more than a run a ball. So I think it's probably important that context is taken into it here, and if Ireland can get to 140, 150, you just never know.
Ever the optimist, Cal McCallan. Dawson's in. Callets forces that off his toes. Behind square for a single. He moves on to 15 off 15. Ireland 95 for 2 in the 14th over. Dawson so far 2 for 8. And that brings Delaney back on strike.
There's a lot spoken about these days about positive intent, and England just keep going for it. I still think there's a place in the game for playing the situation, playing particular circumstances that Ireland are in.
Delaney, a right-handed batter, pushes that out in the offside, a misfield, and Delaney now is off the mark.
I think that was a long signal anyway. I think that would have been a disappointing dot had Adil Rashid not dived over the top. End of the 14th over.
93 for 5. Delaney's off the mark. He's 1 off 2. Callets 15 off 15. And at the moment, Ireland are struggling for inspiration. This has been an excellent England fielding and bowling performance in the conditions. We do think the pitch is noticeably slower than it was on Wednesday, and a longish tail. Is that what you're indicating, Callum?
Well, I'm having a look now. You have Callets and Delaney, and then you're really into the bowlers. Barry McCarthy due in at number 8, then Matthew Humphreys, who can hit the ball well, and then Young and White. So Ireland will need the current partnership to do the majority of the run scoring if they're to get to a competitive total.
It's Adil Rashid from the Castle end, not for 11 off his 2 so far, and Delaney pushing that for the single brings Callets back on strike. And we still have the right hand left hand combination for Ireland. Ireland approaching the century mark. They're 94 for 5 at the start of the 15th over. Smiling Arian Ahmed just in front of us here in the comedy shed, a couple of yards in from the boundary. That's a big shot from Callets, and he's caught that. He's connected with that through mid wicket and into row, I think about row 12 or 13. 6 runs for Ben Callets on debut.
And the spectator has dropped it. He's trying to claim the catch, but there's no doubt that ball is grounded.
Century's up for Ireland, and that's a super way for Ireland to reach the 3 figures with a man on debut, Ben Callets, smashing it into the crowd.
Yeah, wonderful shot.
Ireland are 100, and Callets has pulled that away behind square on the onside. He's found Ahmed. They've come through for the single, so 101 for 5. And Callets so far, after a couple of early nerves, Cal McCallan, the risk of the commentator's curse, he's settling himself into international cricket.
Yes, he's done nicely. He's shown lots of positive intent. Favours that sweep and the crossbat shot, and it's a good option for him against Adil Rashid.
Delaney's on strike, driving along the ground to long off for the single.
And I would say that's Gareth Delaney's job, to get the left-hander on strike to Rashid. Interesting to see, will Rashid have a little look around the wicket? Will he persist over the wicket and just probably try and bowl his googly, make Ben Callets hit across the spin? Pace off.
Crouched. He's gone big. He's taken an edge of that and has gone through, and an easy take in the end. And so Callets has gone on debut. That was the commentator's curse. 22 off 17. Ireland 102 for 6. And Adil Rashid is struck.
Again, there you are. Pace off, back of a length. Just held it back. Safely held by Jacob Bethel. And Ben Callets goes for a well-made 22 on debut. Certainly potential there from an Ireland point of view. But England will be delighted. They're now into the Irish bowlers.
So is that the start of a long international career for Ben Callets? We will find out in the fullness of time. But Ireland are not looking at the moment at a total that's going to trouble this England batting lineup, you would say, despite all of Kyle McCallan's optimism, his green-tinged optimism. Every wicket so far has been a catch. Too many methods of dismissal other than catching in the series so far, as it is indeed Barry McCarthy with the number 60 on his back. Big burly fast medium bowler, blonde hair, good attitude, likes a few verbals, got a temper on him. That's what we want from our fast bowlers, but he's being asked now to do a job with a bat, because there's just over 5 overs left. The slip is in for Barry McCarthy. Rashid is in, last ball of his over. McCarthy's pushing forward, struck in the pad, big appeal, and he's been given. Golden duck for Barry McCarthy unless he reviews it. The finger went up after a fair amount of consideration from the umpire. Discussion between the two batters, Messrs McCarthy and Delaney, as to whether it's worth reviewing. I think they are going to look at it, are they? They are indeed.
I think given the circumstances, I think it's important that Ireland have a look at this, but a very confident England appeal. And umpire Mark Hawthorne, hard to convince from personal experience.
Oh, really?
Generally has to be very straight for Mark to answer in the affirmative.
Right. Long, bitter years of experience from Cal McCallan. He's the man at the mic. We'll offer umpire Hawthorne a right to reply at some stage in the future. But there was a fair deal of consideration from Hawthorne. Here's the replay, Cal. Rashid is in, and that struck him on the back pad. That's out.
Yes, I'm afraid Mark Hawthorne, unless there's a little inside edge, which I don't think there is.
No.
I think Barry McCarthy will be making the long walk back to the pavilion. There's daylight between bat and ball. It's hit him on the knee roll, front the middle and off.
It's gone. Strikes him on the front pad. Just saying it for a third time. Yeah, that's out. It is out. 3 reds, and no huge surprise that Barry McCarthy has to go. He's out first ball for a duck.
And credit to Jacob Bethel there, because he's brought the slip in. Barry McCarthy's coming across to sort of protect against the outside edge, and has brought the front pad into play. Good captaincy, beautiful piece of bowling by Dale Rashid, world class operator, and we're seeing that today in Malahide.
There's a danger the Ireland innings now could collapse very quickly. Delaney's still there. Barry McCarthy's the start of the tail. You can't have any complaints about that decision. Also a fresh partner in Matthew Humphreys for Delaney. Fair amount of advice being offered by Delaney to Matthew Humphreys, who wears number 11. He's just seeing the huge scenes of celebration. Massive smile on the face of Adil Rashid. McCarthy, LBW Rashid, not off 1 delivery. I don't know if he even ranks as having been in for 1 minute. A golden duck for Barry McCarthy. Mustachioed Matthew Humphreys. We were enthusing, Joyce and I were enthusing about Matthew Humphreys' wonderful moustache on Wednesday.
Very regal.
Yeah, a great one. Some people can carry one off, and he can. But enough talk of moustaches. Luke Wood is back at the village end, and he's into Delaney. Delaney's pushing on the offside for a single, and that'll bring the man with the tash, Matthew Humphreys, on strike at the Malahide Castle end. Yes, I wondered, there were a lot of sporting activities this morning when we arrived into the car park. Gaelic games going on around the Malahide Castle. Pitch is there. Parents and friends and family watching that, and dog walkers, and it's a lovely spot if you've never been to Malahide Castle and the grounds. And with this cricket pitch that doesn't normally have all these stands and tents and facilities around it. Luke Wood, no wicket for 9 so far of his 2.1 overs, deflected away behind square on the offside for the single by Matthew Humphreys, and he's off the mark. 104 for 7 in the 16th over.
Nicely played by Matthew Humphreys. His job here will be to get Gareth Delaney on strike. Gareth Delaney's got to face the vast majority of the 28 balls that are remaining in the Irish innings.
Easy thing to say sitting here, isn't it, Kyle?
Very. And to be fair, if he does so for the next 2 or 3 overs, he can hit a lusty ball. Matthew Humphreys famously took an Ireland A team to victory over the West Indies from a position of hopelessness, really, so he can do it.
Left-handed Wood in, and that's a play and a miss by Delaney. Big smile from Luke Wood, and Delaney rehearses the shot again, picks up a little bit of grass. That blade of grass in the ground in front of him was the problem there for Gareth Delaney. Adjusts his gloves, has a word with Matthew Humphreys. England sense that they could very soon be applying the last rites to this Ireland innings. Let's see if there's any fireworks left in the tail end. And as Cal McCallum was saying, there's a huge responsibility on Gareth Delaney. Delaney, bat raised, Wood is in, drops it short, he's gone aerial, and he's going to find the maximum. Lovely shot, smashed to the onside boundary by Gareth Delaney over the top of Jamie Overton, who signals a 6 to the umpire. There was no discussion needed, really. It was a couple of yards over the boundary rope and into the boards, and so Gareth Delaney is starting the fight back. Dropped short and cracked away through the air by Gareth Delaney for the 6.
Yeah, Gareth Delaney stands like a baseball player in his stance. He's got the high backswing, and that back of length ball just allowed him to get his hands quickly through the ball. He's had a long way in front of square. Super shot, just what Ireland needed. Overton
onto the long on boundary. Wood is in, pushed away on the offside by Delaney, straight to the fielder. Square cover, and there's no run. Delaney's on 10 off 8, Humphreys 1 off 1. Wood so far none for 16 at the end of his 3rd over. Last ball of the over coming up. Ireland 110 for 7.
I wonder, will Adil Rashid bowl the next over on a hat trick?
Of course.
He'll be in young Bethel's ear, won't he?
I'm sure he will.
unfortunately, if Matthew Humphreys is on strike.
Braver man than Bethel to say no. Wood is in. Delaney cuts that away behind square, and he's going to get 4 runs at little bubbly corner as it is. So Delaney finishes the over with a boundary after that 6. He's on to 14 off 9. It's none for 20 off Luke Wood's opening 3 overs. Humphreys has got 1, and as Kyle McCallan, the former Ireland captain, makes way for Greg Mullins. Ireland with 4 overs left to bat, and Gareth Delaney leading the late charge. 114 for 7, remember, on the Wednesday, the one game that was completed. Ireland finished 196 for 3. They're going to be miles away from that. But different pitch conditions, different bowling performance by England, and Greg Mullins, there's an awful weight on the shoulders of Gareth Delaney now to try and repeat the boundary hitting that he demonstrated there off Luke Wood.
Yeah, Gareth is one of these players who will sort of hit the ball in different areas. Has good levers, as we saw in the last over. Hit a fantastic 6.
Debut boy Sonny Baker back at the Castle End, none for 24 off his opening 2. He's into Humphreys. That whack off his pad. They've scampered through for the single. Umpire has a look. No, came off the bat. And Humphreys now 2 off 2, 115 for 7. Under the normal run of things, this is nowhere near a defendable total against this England battling lineup. Ireland are going to have to produce something absolutely magical, or else England are going to have to bat below par, shall we say, Greg?
Yeah, I think Ireland today, each and every one of their players would have had to really step up to get to that score, and hope England in the reply don't.
Baker in, out of the back of the hand, driven beautifully, and that's 4 runs for Gareth Delaney.
Yeah, Gareth really is a great striker of the ball. He's one of these guys who won't sort of hang around. Every ball he'll try and clear his big leg and just whack it, and that's what he's done there. To be fair, that was more of an elegant cover drive for 4, and we hope to see, for the Ireland supporters, will be keen to see a lot more of that in the remaining few overs.
I think that was an attempt to disguise slower ball from Baker, dispatched by Delaney, who's 18 now off 10, 119 for 7 Ireland. Delaney takes a step back, swings away, and that's going to be a 6 over square leg. Brilliant hit. And I wonder, poor Sonny Baker getting flashbacks to his ODI debut. 6 runs, Delaney 24 off 11, Ireland 125 for 7. That was on the leg side, and Delaney just stepped back, waited for it, helped it on its way.
Coming into the ground this morning, bumped into Mr. and Mrs. Delaney, coming to watch their son play, so no doubt they're enjoying the hospitality tent. Absolutely. Watching their son clear the ropes there.
And they're hoping that he stays in for the remaining 3.5 overs. Baker, none for 35. And he's repeated the dose, has he? It's gone even further into the crowd. Another 6 for Gareth Delaney. And is he providing the fight back that might give Ireland the tiniest chance in this third T20 international against England?
Yeah, to be fair, I think both sets of supporters here are enjoying these 6s. I think the English supporters who've travelled over, they don't want to see Ireland sort of all out for 140 runs. They'd like Ireland to get above 160, 170. They want to see England really enjoy.
Poor Sonny Baker's figures don't make very happy reading. It's not for 41. That's 17 off the opening 4 deliveries of Sonny Baker's third T20 international performance. Delaney 30 off 12. Baker now, what can he do to stem the flow of runs? He's pushed Delaney back and he's forced that off his pads. There was an easy single there, but Delaney wants to hold on to the strike. So a dot ball. A big smile from Sonny Baker. He doesn't seem phased when the ball's flying around the ground here.
I mean, I talked about parents there. Gareth Delaney's parents. I also saw Sonny Baker's parents here watching the anthems this morning, and really proud to see their son represent England. I wonder how they're feeling at the moment.
So there's a little skip and a jump as Baker is in, and Delaney He's kept hold of the strike. He's got a single down to long on. So what was that? Quite a few off that over for poor old Sonny Baker. Delaney 31 off 14, 132 for 7 with 3 overs left, and Matthew Humphries, who's been watching all this from the non-strikers end, which is where you want to be when Gareth Delaney's hitting a ball like that. He's on 2 off 2, and 6 extras. Ireland currently 132 for 7 with 3 overs to go. Well, it's provided entertainment for the crowd, Greg Mullins.
Absolutely. I think at the start of that over, I was thinking 140, 150 was going to be a total Ireland be looking to get. Now we have 3 overs left. We'd hope to get another 30, 40 runs off the last 3 overs of this innings.
There was 18 off that over from Sonny Baker's third over. Adil Rashid from the village end. That's wide for Delaney to cut that for a single, and he's going to have to hand over the strike to Matthew Humphries. One more to the Ireland total, 133 for 7 in the 18th over. Delaney 32 off 15. Humphries having a look around to see where the fielders are placed. Adil Rashid is in. Humphries pulls that away just behind square on the onside, and he'll come through for the single. It's fielded there just off the boundary by Jordan Cox. Hasn't seen too much of the ball in the field today, Jordan Cox. Playing in just as his third T20 international. That's a single to the square boundary, and they've raced through for the second. Are they going to get overthrows? 2 more for Gareth Delaney. Cut that away to the boundary in the offside, and he scampered through to hold on to the strike. Delaney now the top scorer for Ireland this innings as he overtakes the man who'd previously held that title. That was obviously opener Ross Adair, made 33. And we're just seeing a replay, a better throw maybe, and Butler didn't take the ball at all in the end. Ireland won 36 for 7, driven straight, and that's a scamper through by Delaney. He's looking to keep hold of the strike, but there's not going to be a second run, and Humphries is going to be on strike for the penultimate ball of Adil Rashid's final over. Delaney 35 now, yes, top scorer in this Irish innings, 35 off 17. Ireland 137 for 7. Rashid is in, reverse sweep by Humphries, and that's a beautiful one, 4 runs.
Excellent. We were sort of thinking about Gareth Delaney farming the strike here, but Humphries has shown his capabilities against a fine bowler into Rashid, and he's reverse swept him beautifully for 4.
Lovely shot by young Humphries, and so he's getting in on the act as well. He's on to 7. Adil Rashid now with hands and hips, not quite the broad smile of 15 minutes ago. And his final delivery of the day, and that's another beautiful shot. Is it going to be taken? It's well held just behind square on the onside, and so Humphries goes. The 8th wicket is down. Adil Rashid gets his 3rd wicket of the innings. Just maybe going to check the catch and check that the bowler's footwork was without criticism. I think as the England fielder maybe hurt himself in taking that.
I think he plugged his left knee into the soft ground here in Malahide.
We're going to have another look just to check that catch. Umpire Seaver signals that Humphries would be gone for 7 if the catch is deemed a legal one.
The fielders claimed it, Michael. Would you be, as a batsman, walking off at this stage, or would you be hanging around?
If there's a chance to have a look at it on TV, no, I wouldn't. I'd be saying let the guy on the TV review box have a look at it. I'm going to see it again here. And it was young Jordan Cox. We're saying hadn't seen too much of the ball, but it looks as if he's taken a good low catch. Yeah, I think that's out. Looking at the second replay, but he's taken a blow to the knee. This is a man who's had the worst of luck, Greg Mullins, isn't he? Missed his test debuts against New Zealand with that broken thumb, and poor old Jordan Cox is tentatively making his way off the field of play here at Malahide after taking that catch that has dismissed Matthew Humphries for 7. Ireland 141 for 8 in the 18th over. May just be a sort of cautionary move, isn't it?
Yeah, he seems to be hobbling a bit. Hopefully it's not too serious. But yeah.
Physio was helping him off, or just chatting as he makes his way off. A little bit tentatively. He's not having to be hoisted off or lifted off, but he's just probably going to have a little bit of a look at that. So subfielder's going to have to come on for the last couple of overs. Ireland 141 for 8. Humphreys with caught Cox, bowled Rashid for 7 off 5. Gareth Delaney is still there, 35 off 17. So 2 overs left. Ireland 141 for 8. So they're putting a bit of a gloss on this innings, and Gareth Delaney is leading the way. But at the moment, the new batter is Craig Young, and it's Overton resuming from the far end. That's a full toss for Delaney, who doesn't catch that at all well. One hand off the bat, it's going straight down, and they could have taken an easy single, but obviously Delaney is looking to hold on to the strike.
He certainly is. I think he's got to face most of these deliveries in this over. Might take a single off the last ball should I say, of the over. But yeah, Delaney is looking to clear the ropes here to give Ireland a competitive score, hopefully.
Field well spread. That's a shorter delivery, slower delivery from Jamie Overton, looking whether it was over the shoulder, but it wasn't. And there's no run. Delaney looking at umpire Seaver's square leg,
begging, I think, was he?
He certainly was. Wasn't far away from it. Not given. 141 for 8 Ireland. The sunshine here at Malahide. That's a play and a miss by Gareth Delaney. Jamie Overton can't believe his luck that it didn't take an edge. Had it taken the edge, it could have flown anywhere, such was the power of Delaney's swing. 141 for 8. Overton trudging back the far end. A little bit of a grey cloud over us here in Malahide, but still bright sunshine on this chilly autumnal day in North County Dublin. Ireland looking to rattle a few more boundaries, and Delaney has got another full toss that he did make full contact with, a little bit high on the bat again. The hand came off the bat, so we will have a guest in the commentary shed at the interval. Delighted to say it's Ireland women's star Amy Hunter.
It's a pretty special spell here we're seeing from Jamie. 2 for 14 off 3.4 overs.
4 dot balls in a row here. He's into Delaney, who's hit that high on the offside. It's high, it's going to miss all 3 fielders. It's going to fall short of the boundary as well, and they race through for 2. High through into the cover region, but all 3 of the fielders racing for it couldn't get to it, and an easy 2 in the end for Delaney. So the first runs off Jamie Overton's final over. Very impressive figures, as Greg Mullins was saying. Currently 2 for 16. Here is the last ball of Overton's spell, and he's into Delaney, who's on 37 off 22, and that's cut away nicely. And is that going to race to the boundary, beating Phil Salt? No, Salt's a brilliant boundary fielder. He dives well, stops that ball, saves 3 runs, and at the end of Overton's spell, he's 2 for 17. Delaney's 38 off 23. Young is still to get off the mark, still to face a delivery, and with 6 deliveries left, Ireland 144 for 8. Better than Irish fans might have expected maybe half an hour ago, Greg Mullins.
Yeah, I think half an hour ago we were struggling, looking at maybe 120, 130. Hopefully now a good finish, 6 balls. If we can get another 15, 20 off this last over. You always say we can judge a pitch when we see the other team bat on it. I'm cautiously optimistic. It may be a bit more of a struggle for England as it was here on Wednesday, where they chased the total down with ease. So
change of ends for Sonny Baker on his debut. Not for 32 off his 3 overs. He's going to bowl the final over. So there's A sort of display of confidence, a display of approval from Captain Jacob Bethel. Baker, he's going to be bowling to Delaney, who's on 38. This is the final over of Ireland's innings. Baker's in. Delaney strikes him straight down the ground. It was fielded by Jamie Overton. Thinking about the single, but of course not going for it, because I think Delaney's only interested in boundaries and twos, holding on to the strike. So no run, a dot ball off the last ball of Sonny Baker's final over. Ireland 144 for 8. You would say in normal circumstances 150 odd not going to be enough today, but you never can tell. Overton's gone back onto the long on boundary. Baker's in, struck beautifully. That's the long off boundary that Delaney's gone for. Overton can't get to it, and another 4 for Delaney, another 4 for Ireland. They're approaching the 150 mark in the final over here at Malahide.
Yeah, superb shot there. Sonny bowling back of a length, and Gareth giving himself a bit of room, hitting it straight down the ground. We have mid-off up here at the moment, and to be fair, that's probably the biggest gap for Delaney to target. It is a short hit down the ground, so I will guess we'll see more of that for the rest of the over, as he will try and hit the ball towards the corporate hospitality to finish the innings
possibly
off
into
here.
the corporate hospitality.
Hopefully Mrs. Parents, who are sitting there.
Called Dad. Yes. 148 for 8. Delaney, can he get his 50? He's on 42 from 25. Sonny Baker is in, and that's a good attempted Yorker, and blocked by Delaney. And a warm round of applause for Baker's efforts. Dot ball.
From a personal point of view, it's great to see Delaney doing well here. He had a tough old accident earlier in the season, had an operation, and he's come back here as looking superb. So it's a positive sign for Delaney and his continuation of his international career.
3 deliveries left. Baker into Delaney. He strikes out in the full, but well fielded off his own bowling by Sonny Baker, who's finishing on a positive note here in his final over. 3 dot balls so far of his opening 4. Delaney just checks with the umpire how many are left. 2 signalled by the umpire, 2 deliveries left. And a hush around these temporary stands in Malahide. They've been entertained, but mainly by the English bowling and fielding, but also by Delaney's innings here. Delaney strikes that beautifully. That's going to be another 4 through, slightly wider long off, and when he hits the ball, he times it so beautifully, Gareth Delaney, and he's got a chance to get his 50 off the last ball. He's 46 off 28. Ireland 152 for 8. Just opened up his stance to give himself room, struck it beautifully. Last ball of the innings. A boundary needed for Delaney to reach his half century. Baker in, hush around the ground. Delaney struck that well again. Is he going? No, he's not going to reach the boundary. He's only going to get the single. Are they going to get overthrows? Yes, they are. They've come through for 2. And so Gareth Delaney will finish unbeaten on 48 off 29. Young didn't face a ball. It's no wicket for 52. For Sonny Baker on his T20 England international debut, and Ireland have scored 154 for 8. We will have a break now, and England will need Greg Mullins 155 for victory and the series. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, Ireland won't be overly happy with this score, but I think it really is going to be down to the power play in the reply for England. If Ireland can get a few early wickets, get Salt out early, get a few more of their key batsmen out, 154 may be a total Ireland can defend, but it really is going to be a case of the next 6 overs in the England innings. If Ireland can take a few wickets, that will be the only chance Ireland will have of defending this total.
That's former Ireland international Greg Mullins. I'll run you through the Ireland batting card. The first wicket to fall was captain Paul Stirling, who was caught butler off Dawson. 7 scored by Stirling off 9 deliveries. That was a score on 30. Then Ross Adair, who clubbed a few nicely, 5 fours and a 6 for him, but he was caught by Cox off the bowling of Rian Ahmed for 33 with a score on 52. That became 56 for 3. Lorcan Tucker Just 1 of 5 deliveries caught wood bowled Overton. And that soon became 58 for 4. Curtis Camphor only faced 3 deliveries. He found the winning hands of Tom Banton off Overton. Camphor made 2 of 3. Ireland were 90 for 5. Harry Tector was out for 28 off 27. He was caught. Rashid bowled Dawson. And then Ben Callett's on debut. He scored 22 off 18. He was caught. Bethel bowled Rashid. When he was out, the score was 102 for 6 in the 15th over. Ireland then, the longish tail, Barry McCarthy, Golden Duck. He was LBW, bowled Adil Rashid for naught. That was 102 for 7. Matthew Humphreys made 7 of 5 deliveries. He was caught by Cox off Rashid with a score 141 for 8. And in the final partnership of 13 between Gareth Delaney, who finished not out 48 not out of 29, including 4 4s and 3 6s, and Craig Young was not out of no deliveries faced. So Ireland 154 for 8. I'll give you the England bowling stats. Suffice to say there were no maidens, but Sonny Baker on debut was 4 overs bowled, no wickets for 54. Luke Wood 3 overs, no wicket for 20. Liam Dawson took 2 for 9 off 2 overs. Jamie Overton 2 for 17 off 4 overs, very impressive from him. Rian Ahmed 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 24. And Adil Rashid 4 overs, 3 wickets for 29, and just concern over a possible knee injury to Jordan Cox when he was taking that catch close to the boundary. Well, with the 2 Bens in the team, White and Callett, it's going to be a spin-heavy Ireland attack. It's going to be just like on Wednesday. Matthew Humphreys to open the bowling, and he'll be bowling to that man we're talking about, Phil Salt. Left arm spin. It was a low slingy delivery by Matthews, forced out in the offside, and there's no run. Salt looks the toe end of his bat, and of course in the opening power play of 6 overs, only 2 men permitted outside the circle. Harry Tector's here at sort of wide mid-wicket boundary, and there's a man out there behind the circle, behind the wicket, and Humphreys beats the bat, and the bails are taken off by Lorcan Tucker, and that ooh and ah from the home crowd. They would love to see Salt back in the hutch with a single digit figure beside his score. Humphreys is in, left arm to Salt. Salt whacks him, and that just falls short of Camphor at mid-on, who feels well on the bounce.
This is a good start by Humphreys. He started with the arm ball, then he tossed his second ball up, and the spin and the flight defeated Phil Salt, and there's another dot just short of mid-on, so a little bit of pressure being applied.
Humphreys is in. Salt hits him and smashes him on the offside, and it's going to be signalled a 6. So England get underway with a 6. No surprise, it's been hit by Phil Salt. He hits the ball, strikes it so beautifully, and he absolutely creamed that through the covers for 6 runs.
Yeah, Humphreys just allowed him enough space to extend his arms. He goes down on his back knee and gets right, powers through the ball and clears long off.
So there you are. Just, we said it was a good start by Ireland. How things can change very quickly. Tector's being brought in off the boundary on the onside. Salt just backs away. He's back at his crease now. Lorcan Tucker, the keeper, waiting for this penultimate delivery from Matthew Humphreys onto the pads of Salt. As a misfield by the new boy, and Callett has let that go through, and they've run back for a second.
Yeah, a little bit of inexperience there from Matthew Humphreys. He gives himself a little bit of extra protection on the offside, and then bowls it just wide, just pitches outside the leg stump. But a good bit
of Barry McCarthy with the misfield.
Yeah.
Apologies, Ben Callett. Tector's back on the boundary here on the onside. Salt is already 8 off 5. England 8 without loss. Last ball of the opening over. Matthew Humphreys with it, left arm, and that's fired away on the offside, and half stopped, I think, by the new boy Ben Callett, who did get his hands to it, but Salt comes through for another 2. So 10 off the opening over. Phil Salt already 10 off 6. Peter O'Reilly, it doesn't feel as if this game is going to go the distance.
Yeah, I think wickets clearly is the key for Ireland's hopes. That was a great start from Matthew Humphries in terms of the first 3 balls were all dots, and then that pressure release came with the 6 on ball 4. 2 twos to finish. So respectable, but Ireland, they're not looking for respectability here. They're looking to try and apply a bit of pressure. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be Barry McCarthy from the Castle End, same as on last Wednesday. And a slip is in. Paul Sterling is there at slip, which I suppose is an indication of the need for wickets.
Big burly blonde headed Barry McCarthy, who now 33. He was 33 last Saturday. He took no wicket for 43 off his 3.4 overs on Wednesday in the opening match, and he is in. Joss Butler's first ball. He just plays that back to Barry McCarthy, a diving stop by the bowler.
Old-fashioned Yorker to start from Barry. A really big-hearted, quick bowler. Really gives his all. Always runs in, and somebody who can get the crowd going.
A man with a few bants as well, a few verbals. Ireland don't have many runs to play with, though. The circle of fielders on the offside watching as McCarthy is into Butler. Step back, that's on the full, and a diving stop and a brilliant catch. What a catch by Curtis Camphor. Would you believe it? Joss Butler can't believe it, but that's what Curtis Camphor can do. Possibly catch of the season, and Butler's gone for a duck. Well, he's standing. He can't quite believe it, Joss Butler. The umpires are going to consult. The Ireland fielders believe it's a legitimate dismissal. Joss Butler is waiting to see whether there's going to be a look at it in the replay. Umpires Seaver and Hawthorne, in their resplendent, shocking pink, they're having a discussion, and I think they're maybe going to have a look at it. But Curtis Camphor's convinced he took a clean catch. Was struck very hard, and Camphor short extra cover.
Yeah, it
took
was
a brilliant catch.
It was, as often happens, it was the bad ball gets a wicket. It was a low-full toss. Oh, what a catch! We can just see
Clutched
on the
it
replay here.
one-handed.
Yeah,
that's a legitimate catch, a brilliant one by Curtis Camphor. Possibly one of the few Ireland fielders who might have been able to pull off a catch like that. That is out.
Yeah.
There's that voice behind me, belonging to Cal McCallan, is saying we're seeing another replay. He got his fingers underneath that. Brilliant catch.
Great camera work as well, we should say, from our TV colleagues there. But that's a sort of a caught third slip type catch, except it was a short extra cover, as you say, and Joss Butler's on his way. So that's the wicket that's wicket Ireland were looking for.
Take your green hat off, Peter O'Reilly.
Well, I think there's a sense that the crowd, which is at least half English, I would say, are looking for a contest.
Yeah.
You know, they would be happy, not necessarily to see the back of Joss Butler, but they want a good contest.
That is the sort of thing Curtis Camphor can do, and the guy who gets 4 wickets and 4 balls, or 5 and 5. There's always something happening around Curtis Camphor, isn't there?
Yeah,
brilliant catch.
He has these game-changing qualities, and he probably feels that he needs to contribute something in this game, having only lasted 2 balls before chipping it into the outfield.
Well, there you are. So Curtis Camphor producing the certainly the catch of the series so far. Butler caught Camphor, bowled McCarthy, a 2-ball duck. I don't think that was in the English script. So here we have the skipper, maybe out a little bit earlier than he expected. Jacob Bethel on Wednesday made 24, and he is in with the score 10 for 1, as we see a replay of Camphor's one-handed catch, and McCarthy is in, his tail is up into Bethel. He just carves that out in the offside for no run. So the Irish fans, I think, have woken up. They've been stunned by that.
Yeah, there's a little tingle of atmosphere suddenly. New England captain, 21-year-old coming in, probably feeling a little bit of weight on his shoulders. Will
one bring 2? for Ireland. Glad to say there's no hint of any grey clouds appearing as Barry McCarthy's running towards us from the castle end into the left-handed Bethel, and that's a play and a miss. That's down the leg side and signalled a wide. So the first run conceded by McCarthy is an extra. He's 1 for 1 off 3 deliveries. The ball is thrown back to him by Harry Tector. Just there's a little hint of tiny sense of optimism. I've got to build this up, Peter. If Ireland could get another one here. Bethel, the skipper, 21 years old. McCarthy, he's been pushed back, and that off the pad has been forced away, and they scamper a single, which will be deemed a leg by.
You can hear the local crowd there getting excited about a batsman being wrapped on the pads.
Well,
they've been waiting around for a couple of hours, or an hour and a bit.
Waiting for this game to resume.
Yeah.
And so that brings Phil Salt back on strike at this near end, the Malahide Village end. He's on 10 off 6 deliveries. McCarthy's 1 for 1 off 4 balls. And Phil Salt just having a good look round. Paul Sterling, the skipper's at slip. And Salt is waiting as McCarthy runs towards him. Hushed here at Malahide. Lovely strike of the ball by Phil Salt, but a good diving stop by Harry Tector at mid-off. And every save is being applauded by the home fans here.
Yes. The bowler, very grateful there, I'd imagine. He's
saved him 4 runs.
Saved him 4 runs.
Saved the team 4 runs.
Yeah, so there's still only 1 run from 5 balls in this over so far.
Back when Ireland were going so well and have gone so well in men's international cricket, they prided themselves at one stage being one of the best fielding sides in the world. McCarthy now, last ball of his first over. That's just pushed easily off his legs for a single by Salt, who will retain the strike. End of the second over. England chasing 155 for victory in this match in the series. 13 for 1. Butler out for a 2-ball duck. Salt is 11 off 8, and Bethel yet to score off 2. There were 3 off that over from Barry McCarthy.
Looks like it's Seam from the Dublin Road end. Craig Young getting a chance.
We're obliged to call him the old warrior, aren't we?
Well, he's 35 now. He's in great nick, though, to be fair to him. He's recovered from some injuries. Calf injuries, I believe. Is that right? Hamstring injuries.
He's a man who's suffered a fair amount of injury through his career, but a wholehearted performer. Proud man of the Northwest.
Bowled well on Wednesday, I thought. His changes of pace were clever.
None for 26 off 3 on Wednesday, and he's in to bowl to Phil Salt. Shorter ball, Salt pulls that away, doesn't make great connection, but he gets the single. Good fielding by Ben Callitz, the man on debut. And 1 more added. England total 14 for 1, Salt 12 off 9.
There you have Callitz chasing around at wide mid-on, throwing himself around, a bit like Harry Tector last over. Ireland exuding energy in the field, which is the sort of thing you need. It's
when you have a smallish total to defend, you have to.
Yeah, and as you say, it's fielding is something you can do together. It's like it's a team activity, and you can build morale by stopping those ones here and there.
The skipper Bethel now is on strike. Young is into him. That's a shorter one, pulled away behind square on the onside, and that'll be an easy 4 runs for the England skipper.
Feels a bit soft, that concession of 4 runs there, but beautifully played by Jacob Bethel. Just waited for it and rolled his wrists and
it's a shortish boundary in that corner as well.
It raced away.
That's the boundary with a little kink in it, and Bethel is off the mark, 4 off 3.
Got to slip in now. Let's bowl to it.
Young is in, and Bethel driving it on the onside, scampering through for a single. Shy at the stumps, he was always in, well backed up by Curtis Camphor.
Better length, slightly false stroke there by Bethel. Bit better from Craig Young. Salt back on strike.
Well, the Ireland fans, I think, enjoyed the striking of Phil Salt on Wednesday. should have got the century, didn't. And as Peter O'Reilly was saying, they don't really have enough runs to play with for him to get a century, unless he hogs the strike to an almighty degree. He's on strike now, he's 12 off 9, Young is in, pushed out on the offside for a single. They've dashed it very quickly. Salt wants to retain strike, he's not going to. Decent bit of fielding in the boundary, and the Irish fielders cut him off to just a single.
That's Gareth Delaney out there.
It is, yeah.
It is. Yeah, he did well to get to the ball, get it in the air quickly. Again, good work by Ireland. I thought England set a really good example in the field. Their catching and their general cricket was of a probably higher standard than on Wednesday. So it's something for Ireland to emulate.
Graham Hume walking in front of us. I think he's on drinks duties today for Ireland. Young is in, and the skipper's taking a there's going to be a shot at the stump now. There's no strikers in. Had Tucker struck, the skipper would have been out. Bethell would have been run out. Slight confusion between Bethell and Salt. Tucker needed a direct hit, and Bethell would have gone. He just played it into the ground. Bethell. Salt called it, and yeah, direct hit would have been out.
They made eye contact, I think.
It was well wide in the end from Lorcan Tucker with the wicket-keeping glove off.
Yeah, needed to be a direct hit.
So a let-off for Jacob Bethell. And it's Salt at the striker's end. Camphor's been pushed back 6 yards in from the mid-wicket boundary. That's a shorter delivery. And it's let go and signalled a wide by umpire Seaver, to the disgust of the home fans. Craig Young with a querulous look, but it's one more than England, total 22 for 1 in the third over.
We're going to see a replay of it now here. At first glance it looked like a fair call. I think if he had stood to his full height there, it still would have been over his head.
Well over Salt's head in the end. And Craig Young.
I think the frustrating thing for Craig there is that he surprised him.
Young is in. Just dabbed down by Salt for a quickly run single on the onside, which is fielded by Ben Callitz. So England are keen to keep things moving, running quickly. Just took that one risk when Bethell might have been run out, but at the end of the third over, McCarthy's 1 for 2. Salt is 14, Bethell 6, England 23 for 1, chasing 155.
Yeah, it's noticeable from Phil Salt that there's a slightly different game plan here from them. He's looking to take quick singles and turn ones into two, rather than just to clear the rope. I'm sure if those opportunities come, he'll be more than ready for it. He's back on strike now to Barry McCarthy. But Ireland have made a decent start, 23 for 1 from 3 overs. That's respectable.
So McCarthy running away from us. Yeah, one for 2 off his opening over so far. And struck by Salt on the onside up to mid-on. Easy single taken. There were 10 off that opening over of Craig Young's. England 24 for 1. Sterling having a little word with his bowler. Sterling with his Ireland tank top on, baseball cap. It's probably chilly enough outside the comedy shed.
I think he was asking, do you want to slip? And it looks like
it's going
Sterling
to be.
Is going to take that responsibility himself.
Well, Ireland have to attack. As Peter O'Reilly was saying, they need wickets. McCarthy's in, and that's left by Bethell outside the off stump. Through to Lorcan Tucker.
That was the effort ball from McCarthy. Good pace on it, good energy. Carried through nicely to Lorcan Tucker.
Either the barbecue burgers are on the far side, or else somebody's on fire. I think it's the barbecue. A very nice fruity beef curry offered to the ladies and gentlemen of the press at the earlier on before play started.
You didn't take the vegetarian option,
not at all. Bethel's bat is up, McCarthy's in. That's a faster delivery. It's an on drive by Bethell. Fielded and pinged in by Tector at mid-on. And there's no run.
Yeah, he didn't get hold of that. That was didn't come out of the middle of the bat.
Callum was saying feels like a different pitch is slightly differently paced compared to Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure during the Ireland innings if that was just clever changes of pace from the England bowlers or if there was a two-paced sort of aspect to the pitch, but the way England have started would suggest that it isn't quite as true, playing quite as true as on Wednesday.
McCarthy into Bethel, couple of steps down. Bethel crashes that away on the onside. That's 4 runs. There's a statement of intent. That was 4 for the minute it came off the flashing blade of Jacob Bethel's bat, and 28 for 1 Bethel on to 10.
I think what was telling about that was how far in front of square it was hit. I mean, it was through a sort of a very straight mid-wicket, crashed into the advertising hoardings. He was very quick onto it. Very clean strike.
Lovely shot. I saw him practicing those before the start of play. Bit of throw down Jacob Bethel. He's on to 10 from 8, and again he's down the track and he hits this on the offside. That's another lovely boundary from the England captain. 4 runs again. And Barry McCarthy, having kept him quiet in the opening first 3 deliveries, goes for 2 boundaries. Another lovely strike from Jacob Bethel. 32 for 1.
Just walks down the pitch and swats it sort of baseball style over first base, as it were. Head lovely and still though, and lovely swing of the arms.
14 off 9 Bethel. Salt on 15. Bethel just studying the blade of his bat. He's a very young looking 21, isn't he? One of the old warriors, Barry McCarthy, running towards him. Bethel pulls that away, just falls short of Callets, just behind square on the onside, and they run through for 1. End of the over. 4 overs bowled, 33 for 1 Salt, 15 Bethel, 15 as well. Remember, England chasing 155. We'll see Peter O'Reilly take the headset off, and he will be replaced in the comedy shed by former Ireland captain Cal McCallan, who I don't think at the moment needs his sunglasses. The sun isn't quite as bright as it was. A smiling Graham Hume gives him a nod. You know everybody, Cal McCallan, don't you?
Yeah, Graham Hume, great guy, clubmate, former clubmate, dare I say.
Do you play any cricket these days of any kind?
None at all.
Good man. Young has been creamed away as a catch, a diving catch, a brilliant catch. It's another Irish wicket. Craig Young has got it, and Bethel goes the skipper.
Jacob Bethel just examines the toe of the bat, got away with it in the last ball of Barry McCarthy's over, and this time slower ball into the pitch, slow nature of the pitch, and he's picked out, I think that's Gareth Delaney, potentially a deep backward square, can't just see from here. Ball didn't quite come on, and a fine catch diving forward.
It is indeed Delaney with the catch, super catch by him. So an England wicket goes down. It's the England captain. I don't think there's any doubt about the catch, but Bethel is just having a little look at the big screen. The sunglasses of Delaney fell to the ground as he took that catch. Got up dapper as you like, and that was a super effort, and 2 wickets down for England. 33 for 2.
I did say
you
at
did
half time.
Oh, here he goes.
That the first 6 overs, the power play would tell a tale. England haven't got away. What Ireland would give to get rid of Phil Salt, then it would genuinely be game on. Jordan Cox, I watched him bat recently for Kent. He was absolutely phenomenal. But again, relatively in the infant stages of his international career. And Craig Young, the big North Down Cricket Club opening bowler, hailing from Brady in the North West Cricket Union, has picked up a wicket. Clever bowling, pace off into the pitch, and this could. The only thing I will say, Michael, just out behind us, behind the shade here.
It's not the only thing you're going to say, is it?
There was a rather large, dark, wet-looking cloud that has bypassed us, and I'm hoping that Mr. Parry's AccuWeather or whatever other weather app is available there might just be wrong. Jordan
Cox is in. He pushes that on the onside, a dashing stop by Ben Callets, who certainly looks a live wire in the field. Jacob Bethel was caught. Delaney bowled Young for 15 off 11 deliveries with a score on 33. It's 33 for 2. England need 155. Phil Salt is still there, 15 off 12. But Ireland have just given themselves a little hint of a possibility of something. But in T20 cricket, I mean, 10 minutes can pass and the game can disappear out of your hands.
Just interesting looking at Jordan Cox's setup. He seems to be quite deep in the crease. His trigger movement taking him even back deeper onto his stumps.
There's a slip for Cox, but it's not going to be involved, but he's pulled that away over the boundary behind square for 6 runs. What a shot. What a shot.
That's enormous. That's 12, really. He should get 12 for that, but he's just sat right back on the stumps. He's waited on that back of a length ball from Craig Young. He's just used the pace and he's hit it over the stand. They're stand D. They're all looking behind, into the park behind. And
That's halfway to the castle.
There's a flight coming in here to Dublin Airport, and perhaps it might have been in danger. Believe it or not, that ball was hit so hard. Fabulous shot from Jordan Cox.
Replacement ball required, I think. Yes, I think the spectators at the back of that stand are pointing out where the ball is. We might yet see it back in the field of play, unless it's deflected off a piece of metal work. But yes, they're being the ball. Somebody has got the ball behind the stand, is being encouraged to throw it back. So it could land on somebody in the stand, but the spectators trying to get the ball back. The umpires are currently consulting over a replacement, but Jordan Cox is 6 off 2 deliveries. Salt is 15. England 39 for 2 in the 5th over. It hasn't been dull, has it?
It certainly hasn't. And what an authoritative way to get off the mark.
Brilliant.
Just a magnificent cricket shot. Good to see him out batting, actually. He hasn't had a lot of luck, Jordan Cox. I think he suffered from a finger injury when he was supposed to go to New Zealand.
Concerns over his kneecap at the end of the Ireland innings when he was fielding. He's looking at the toe end of his bat. Have we got the original ball back? Matthew Humphreys, I think, is appealing and waiting. Still, somebody has got... It's being urged. Some randomer outside the grounds being urged to give it back. Maybe they've put it in their pocket and they're heading off. There's huge hilarity amongst the spectators at the back of that temporary stand. I don't think we're going to see that ball back. Anyway, we've got a replacement, and it's in the hands of Craig Young, who is over so far as wicket, dot ball 6, and he's in, and Cox is just pushing that into the ground where it's fielded very promptly by Curtis Camphor. There's no run. Umpire got confused as to how many deliveries had been. There's all sorts going on here. 2 left in this 5th over.
You get an instant impression here of the amount of time Jordan Cox has and how late he's playing the ball.
Still Paul Stirling in at slip as Young is running away from us. A stylish carving cut through the offside for 4 runs. Again, a beautiful shot by Jordan Cox.
Beautiful shot. I'm just watching him. He running rather gingerly down the crease.
That's the kneecap.
Played the shot, but nice timing. Let the hands through the ball, through that gap. Just taking his bottom hand off to keep control. Beats Gareth Delaney at backward point, and there's no stopping that.
Ross Adair was chasing after it, but didn't get anywhere near it. Stirling is out from slip into the onside inside the circle. Young is in to Cox, who's driving again on the offside, which is fielded by Curtis Camphor. Pinged back to Lorcan Tucker. So an eventful over off the bowling of Craig Young. It did get the wicket of Jacob Bethel. England were 33 for 2. They've now moved on to 43 for 2. Phil Salt still there, 15 not out. Just haven't seen him facing a delivery yet. 15 off 12, and Jordan Cox is 10 off 4.
I think we have a change of bowling. It looks to me like Curtis Camphor, the man with the golden arm in T20 cricket for Ireland.
Absolutely.
Will, however, he's short in nature, he's skiddy in nature, will invariably throw the ball up to Phil Salt and Jordan Cox.
He's got that sort of whippy action from a shorter bowler, but yes, involved in so many great moments since his debut during COVID times, and how the Ireland fans here would love Curtis Camphor to go up with another little bit of magic. 43 for 2, England chasing 155. That's not a great ball to start off with, but clubbed away through mid-on by Phil Salt for a single, and that'll bring Cox back to the striker's end. He's already 10 off 5. The sun is out. We're deep in shadow here in the commentary shed, but thankfully the umbrellas were not needed, and that cloud that Kyle McCallan mentioned has long since disappeared. Ross Adair's right in front of us on the sort of just back of the square, 5 yards in the offside boundary. And he's being moved right in front of us here in the shed, and he's watching now as Jordan Cox is on strike. Camphor coming in now. Second delivery of the over. Pushed away on the onside. It beats the man there. They're going to come through for a second. Fairly easy too. It's fielded there by Delaney on the boundary. And at the minute, Jordan Cox looks as though he's got all the time in the world, Cal McCallan.
He does, but there's no doubt he is not moving comfortably between the wickets. But again, Curtis Camphor there just hitting back of a length. Jordan Cox trying to get his hands through it, mistiming it, almost finding mid-wicket.
England 46 for 2 in the 6th over. That's a lovely, lovely drive behind square on the offside, and that's the 50 up for England. Another 4 for Jordan Cox. He looks like a man on a mission, even if he's not a man in a particularly free-moving mission. He strikes the ball so beautifully, and the 50 is up for England, 50 for 2.
I'm minded of the great Gordon Greenwich. When he hobbled down the steps, they always said beware of the wounded batsman, and Jordan Cox not moving freely, but his timing the ball beautifully since come to the crease.
Cox, he's pulled that magnificently on the onside behind square. That's a huge 6. That's nearly over the grandstand. What a shot. Absolutely brilliant from Cox. Was it held by that young supporter? I think it might have been. Let's see the replay. Very nearly cleared the grandstand. An absolute minimum of effort, maximum of result. Oh, it was dropped. Dropped by the chap on the glasses. He made an effort. Thankfully didn't hit anybody. Actually picked up by the young supporter, but the fellow on the glasses, he'd be disappointed to have dropped that. 56 for 2. Cox 22 off 8. Here he goes again, bat lifted and pushes out in the offside for no run, which is fielded by skipper Paul Stirling. So it's 1, 2, 4, 6 dot ball so far from Curtis Camphor's opening over. Remember, England need 155 for victory, so 99 required.
And he's not trying to hit that, he's just using the pace of the ball, and he's helping the ball on its way. And it's going an awful long way. Great start to the innings, 22 from 9.
Final ball of the over from Camphor. And Cox waited for it, hit it up straight, dashed through for the single that'll retain him the strike. Cox 23 off 10. Salt 16 off 13. England chasing 155 or 57 for 2 off 6. What does Paul Stirling do? Kyle McCallan, does he bring the changes?
I think now we're out of the power play. See Matthew Humphries as the
power play.
I think you'll see a lot of spin. I think we might see Ben White replacing Curtis Camphor from the far end, and it's going to be Matthew Humphries here. Pace off, make the batters hit through the ball, something that they haven't struggled to do thus far.
No. On the evidence so far, I don't think Jordan Cox will be find that too much of a challenge. We're seeing a shot of the smiling England bench. They're being looked after by a combination of Matthew Trescothick and Luke Wright, two fine former internationals of their own eras, or their own era. And at the minute, England are very much odds on to win this third match and win the series 2-0. But let's see what Matthew Humphries can do from the village end. He's got Ross Adair on the long on boundary, end of the power play. Tector's here in front of us. You'd call that cow corner. Humphries is just receiving final instructions, I think, from Captain Stirling.
I think it was Jordan Cox's right knee rather than his left knee, not his front foot, so to speak.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have been tempted to take the pace off. He's going to struggle with his base, perhaps with less pace on the ball, but he certainly hasn't struggled against the pace of the Irish attack.
He's had some beautiful shots so far, Cox. That's a shorter delivery by Humphries, slung down and pushed and pulled away by Cox into the onside, which fielded by Harry Tector for the single. Stirling signalling to Tector. Tector can't hear him. He wants him right back on the rope, I think, for Phil Salt. Maybe more of a mid-wicket direction, but Tector is about 5 yards in from the rope as Humphries is in, left arm. There's lots of room for Salt to push that into the onside. Humphries having to field off his own bowling and sliding and slipping on that damp surface. And an easy one more for England. Salt 17.
Yeah, they always talk about just trying to knock the ball to the ring to try and make it 2.
There's lots of empty space around there, isn't there?
But Ireland's best fielder, Harry Tector, covers the ground very well. Tall, rangy runner.
Cox 24 off 11. So far, 2 4s and 2 6s from Jordan Cox, despite the fact that he's hurt his knee. And just pushed out in the offside behind square, where it's fielded and pinged in. No run.
Nicely bowled from Matthew Humphreys. He's just got to attack the stumps.
Jordan Neal's on as a replacement fielder, wearing 39. Man, he's come into the squad as a replacement himself for Mark Adair. Humphreys. Oh, is that a big appeal? And the finger's gone up. And Cox is gone. He's gone for 24.
Very confident that he's hit it, I think. The fact that he has gone straight up, straight away. Beautiful piece of bowling.
Convinced he's not LBW. And we're going to have a review of that. Usually an indication, isn't it, when the batter goes through a review immediately. If this decision is upheld, England would be 59 for 3. But Salt and Cox discussing. Cox confident that he'll still be there.
Beautiful piece of bowling from Matthew Humphreys. Spun it from the stumps. And I think, looking at Jordan Cox's reaction, he thinks he may have been saved by a little faint outside edge.
We're seeing the replay now, Cal. Difficult to tell. Hit him on the back leg.
If he hasn't hit that, that is stone dead.
Let's see the sniggle. Yeah. Big indication of ultra edge. He did get a little nick on that, so he's an honest fella, Jordan Cox, in that situation. He did get a little snick on it, so the decision will be overturned and England will stay 59 for 2.
Regardless, encouragement for the Irish bowlers, particularly outside the power play now. There's a little bit of spin in the pitch. If you bowl good areas, it's not just going to potentially be just as easy as it has been off the seam. So if I were Matthew Humphreys, I'd be very encouraged. What a moustache.
Sunshine for the rest of the afternoon, Professor Parry is showing us. The producer himself. Humphreys is in. He's been pulled away on the onside. Jordan Cox is in big discomfort as he hobbles through. You have to say hobbled through for that single. He pulled the ball into the onside. And you've got to question whether he's going to do himself more damage.
And also the fact that he's going to be he's going to negate Phil Salt's 1s to 2s.
Yeah.
But England obviously believe, and listen, he's 25 for 14. He's doing a wonderful job for the side.
England 60 for 2. Humphreys is in. Salt deflects that away behind square, where it's fielded by Craig Young. A short fine leg. Good piece of fielding. End of the 7th over. England require 155. Run rate required is 7.32. Cox 25, Salt 17. England 60 for 2. And Curtis Camphor, if he's going to return, or is there going to be a bit of a change at the far end? Camphor was no wicket for 14. And we are going to see Ben White. I heard that whisper. Stage whisper, that one, Callum McCann. Ben White, one of the 2 players to come into this team today. One of the 2 Bens. Going to see his right arm leg spin. 27-year-old Dubliner. And yes, very spin heavy Ireland attack in the absence of the likes of Mark Adair and Josh Little, Fionn Hand. And Ben White will be bowling from the far Malahide Castle end. England 60 for 2. Current run rate 8.57, so they're up with the run rate.
Different bowler. Heinrich Milan likes him, bowls flat. Generally doesn't spin it a huge amount.
White is into Cox. It's not a great opening lift. Cox tried to swing that away. He's missed it completely. And that's going to race away for 4 byes behind the keeper. Wasn't the greatest piece of cricket you'll ever see from any part of that activity, but 4 more runs for England.
Yeah, short ball. But what we saw through the Irish, you can see it just has sat in the pitch. Jordan Cox has threw his shot, and it's beat, unfortunately, everybody.
Race to the boundary. So 4 byes off Ben White's opening delivery. He's in again, Cox treating that with more respect, pushing it out in the offside, which fielded by Sterling, no run.
Ireland can't afford those extras Got to keep extras to a minimum.
White spinning the ball to himself, and he's in, and that's smashed high over mid-wicket for 6 runs by Jordan Cox, and I think it bounces out of the ground entirely, dropped there in the main stand, and that was a little bit of a gimme and dispatched by Cox.
Yeah, very strong hitting, poor delivery. It's another drag down. This time
Sat up, didn't it?
Yeah, this time Jordan Cox didn't miss out, and he's just helped that well over the boundary for another maximum.
Yeah, I was asking for the full treatment, and my goodness, Cox gave it. Let's see if White can battle back. He sits back and fires that out in the offside between the two fielders. Callets picks it up. They're going to run through for the second quite easily in the end, despite Cox's dodgy knee. That you can see him sort of, even from here, you can see and feel him grimacing as he runs his bat in. But Cox 33 off 18. No wicket for 8 off White's opening 4 deliveries. Salt, who at the moment, is playing very much second fiddle to Jordan Cox. 72 for 2, England. White is in, running towards us, and just pulled away by Cox. And again, you can see how much pain he's in as he limps towards the far end. Another single for him. And the last ball of Ben White's opening over here in the English reply. Remember, they need 155 to win this third match and win the series 2-0. 73 for 2. And Salt is on strike. He's on 17. Smashed away behind square on the onside, and it's going to roll and bounce into the boundary board. 4 runs for Phil Salt, and an eventful over. 13 off it. Ben White's opening over, and that means that at the end of the 8th over, England 73 for 2. Cal McCallan is going to make way and be replaced by one of his former international colleagues, Greg Mullins. Jordan Cox is on 34. Phil Salt is on 17. And England 77 for 2 off 8 overs. And Greg, Jordan Cox is hitting. We're about to see maybe there was a no ball off that Ben White's last delivery, so it's not the end of the over. Ben White's going to have a one left, and it's a free hit, of course. And let's see where Phil Salt puts this. Which county might he dispatch this to? White is in for the free hit, cracks that away, and it's rather disappointingly only a single to long off. But that is the end of the 8th over. 79 for 2, chasing 155. Jordan Cox, my goodness me, he's played some shots, Greg Mullins, hasn't he?
Yeah, we've been talking about Phil Salt, for the last few days, and it's been fantastic to see Cox not just clear the boundary by a metre, he's been clearing the boundary by many metres. The last one nearly going over the stand at deep mid-wicket.
And this for a guy with a bad leg, a bad knee.
I know he has been pretty awesome so far. Slightly disappointing over there from an Ireland point of view by Ben White. Ireland have gone with the extra spinner. George Dock will make way for Ben White today, so I think we need to see a bit more from the Ireland spinners if Ireland are going to challenge England here.
Matthew Humphreys, left armour from the village end. No wicket for 13 off his 2 so far. He's bowling to Phil Salt. He's in. That's a bit of a wayward delivery down the leg side and signalled wide by umpire Seaver. It is a lovely, shocking pink top. Afternoon, the weather settled down here. Full house at Malahide. England 80 for 2, chasing 155. Humphreys is in. Driven, off driven. That's a misfield. Would you believe it? Curtis Camphor with a misfield. And that's 4 runs for Phil Salt.
Yeah, not a great effort in the field by Curtis, going down with one hand. It didn't do him any harm earlier in the innings when he took a wonderful catch. But no, a bit of poor fielding there at long off.
Should have been 1, turned into 4. Camphor will be furious with himself. England move on to 84. And Salt's in 26. Humphreys, the left armour's in. That's guided away on the offside. That's a good stop there. But there might be an overthrow. There wasn't in the end. Ben Callett's backing up, one more to the English total.
What's lovely about the pace, Humphreys is really bowling quite slowly here. It's noticeable that he feels probably taking pace off the ball compared to how it went on Wednesday. So he is trying to vary it a bit here.
By McCarthy at square cover. Humphreys in and pushed out on the offside for a single. It's easy to tell who's running and who's striking because Cox is very tentative in his movements down the strip, but it's one more to him. And at the moment England are just adding the singles, keeping the scoreboard ticking over. 86 for 2, Cox 35, Salt the man on strike 27 off 19. Current run rate is 10.12 and the run rate required is exactly 6. Ireland need a bit of magic. Humphreys in and pushed down the track by Salt, and he's hardly touched the ball, has he? Ross Adair comes in off the boundary, pings that in. One more to the total. Sunshine all the rest of the day, according to our producer, looking at his various apps, which is good news. We're going to see this match completed without a doubt. Friday was a bit of a horrible day. Humphreys 5-5 here in Dublin. That's a bit of a full toss, played away off his toe by Cox for a single.
There's a bit of a feeling England have sort of
they've weathered the storm. England.
They're sort of operating and just rotating the strike here, just going to try and milk the bowlers, not take too many risks, and try and chase this game down professionally with too many blips.
Yep.
Ireland were going to have to sort of change up something here, maybe bring a few feelers in. I see they've just brought in the deep backward square now.
It's Callett's coming into the edge of the circle. Last ball of the over. Not for 22 off Humphreys so far. Pushed into the onside to mid wicket where Harry Tector runs into field. And that's one more to the total. Salt will hold on to the strike at the end of the 9th over. England 89 for 2. And currently Greg Mullins easing to victory in Malahide.
Yeah, listen, there's 11 overs to go here, so Ireland are going to have to try something different, bring a few feelers in, and if they lose the game in the 14th, 15th over, trying something.
Phil Salt has not offered a single chance either today or on Wednesday, has he? I don't think he has. Well, false shot is I can't think of an obvious one. I don't know how you get him out at the minute. The man's in such terrific form. England fans will be hoping he continues that through the winter and into the T20 World Cup, February and March. Camphor's back, not for 14 off his first over from the far end. He's got that whippy action. Took a brilliant catch to dismiss Joss Butler for a 2-ball duck. And he's in now to Phil Salt, who's in 29. Salt just stands up and hits that, and Curtis Camphor, my goodness, that must have hurt. I don't know if he stopped with his hand or his thigh or some part of his body, but he stopped it.
Yeah, Camphor's one of these cricketers. Very often in the Irish shirt, he makes things happen. So I know the Irish team here will be looking for something out of him.
Drilled back to him and well stopped. Combination of hand and hip, I think. Stopped that ball. England 89 for 2. We're into the 10th over. Discussion between captain and Camphor as to maybe a change in the field. Lengthy discussion. And the man is being called on. Is that onto the long off boundary?
Yeah, he's moving the guy from short fine leg across, coming up probably to mid off. Still having a sort of wide long off in place.
So there's a bit of extra protection for the bowler. Ben White it is coming into that position. And he's watching now as Camphor is into Salt. That's a wide delivery outside the off stump. No surprise it's been given as a wide.
It's a big change in the game. You see now the fielder Ben White at mid off, and then sort of probably 6-7 yards to his left shoulder, sweeping the boundary. And as that happens, Ben White has now moved to.
He pushed onto the. Is he on the onside there?
So he's even straighter.
Yeah.
Feels as if he's nearly behind the bowler.
Directly behind the bowler, directly behind the umpire. And that's the edge, is it? Camphor's found the edge. of Phil Salt's bat. Well, that's how it's done. It's taken by Lorcan Tucker, and Phil Salt is out. Astonishing news from Malahide. He goes for 29, and England, they're now 90 for 3 in the 10th over.
Well, it was interesting there by Sterling. You know, there was probably a bit of theatrics there, sort of slowing it down, coming in, talking to the bowler, moving the fielder to sort of shorten it off. Then he moved him to, as we say, nearly behind the bowler. Slowed it down, and a ball later, Phil Salt is walking back to the pavilion.
You said it, Greg Mullins. Camphor's a man who makes things happen.
Yeah, well, he does it generally. He's done it a few times. I think he's in T20 cricket. He's had four wickets in a row.
4 and 4, yeah.
So that's the first. Does that mean a couple more are coming in this over? We hope, from an Ireland point of view, that happens. But I think from the fans out there, both England and Ireland fans, they want to see a tight game here today.
Well, Salt is gone. Curtis Camphor, so often as Greg Mullins has been saying, he's a man who initiates things. He's taken a brilliant catch. He had a bit of a misfield there a moment ago, but he's got the all-important wicket of Phil Salt. Caught Tucker, bowled Camphor. 29 off 23, 2 fours and a 6 from Phil Salt. So it's the Olympic Jordan Cox is on 36 off 21. As we're seeing a replay of the wicket, and the new man, and I think it's Tom Banton. And Banton now is taking strike against Camphor. He drives him straight, confidently, off his first ball. Is that going to race away to the boundary? It's a chase back for Tector, and he can't stop the ball from hitting that Toblerone rope, and that's 4 runs to Tom Banton off his opening delivery.
Yeah, I mean, the Irish players would have been delighted to see the back of Phil Salt, but outstrides Tom Banton, not a bad replacement. And
very much so.
Played a beautiful shot down the ground. Very conventional shot. Tom Banton is a man who plays the ball a bit like Gareth Delaney, plays it in different areas, but that was very much a traditional shot down the ground, beautifully played.
Banton having a look at the Irish fielders. As the man drops back on, straight drops back. It's Barry McCarthy, right in front of the replay screen at long on. Are they just adjusting the rope, the long off boundary? It has finally been done. So play will resume. England 94 for 3. The 10th over. Banton 4 off his opening delivery. He's on strike again. Forces that away behind square in the offside, where it's fielded by Callets for a single. And England approaching the century in the 10th over. Cox back on strike. He's 36 off 21. Wispy clouds here in Malahide. It's a chilly afternoon, but sunny.
Yeah, gorgeous venue, Malahide. I mean, it really is a special place for both Ireland and English supporters coming to watch international cricket. And
it's got the room for all the additional stands to be built. That's a wide delivery outside the off stump, and Cox reached for it, couldn't get to it, went through to Lorcan Tucker. Dot ball. Clontarf's a nice ground, but it's very constrained by housing, and it's slightly more cramped in terms of getting stands and all the various other accoutrements that you need for international cricket. Stormont also does have room, like Malahide, for temporary stands, and that's cut straight. Oh, that's a misfield by Rossiter, and that'll be 4 runs. The ball striking the rope right in front of us. But there should have stopped that delivery at Gully, and as it was, 4 runs to England. And at the end of the over, Curtis Camphor is 1 for 24. It's a lovely carving cut, but Adair should have stopped it. Yeah. And England approaching the century. They're 99 for 3. They are indeed. Cox moves on to 40.
Yeah, how often do we see in cricket the last ball of an over is often bowlers maybe drop a bit of concentration, and 4s are often scored off the last ball of a lot of overs in both one-day international cricket of 50 overs and T20 cricket. Disappointing finish to the over. Ireland, are up against it. They'll need, every boundary saved, every catch taken. as Ben White comes in for his second over.
White now. Banton is on strike at the far castle end. Banton's 5 off 2. England need 56 to win off 60 deliveries with 7 wickets in hand. Little tweak to the field by Captain Sterling. Craig Young inside the circle on the onside, coming slightly straighter. White is into Banton. Banton's back, pushing that defensively into the ground. There's no run.
Yeah, nice comeback there by Ben White. Had a difficult first over. Started nicely with the dot.
Yeah, 15
Banton.
off his opening over, Ben White. Came into this Ireland team along with Ben Callis, the debut man. That's an attempted cut by Banton. Misses it through to Lorcan Tucker. 2 dot balls at the start of the over. Making the point earlier, the number of England fans who've travelled, I think, for the entire week here in Dublin, enjoyed themselves. And they're seeing a full day's play here at Malahide. And Banton's back on his toes, pushing that back to the bowler. 3 dot balls. We've yet to see a maiden, I think, in this series so far. Greg, famous last words, commentator's curse. Ben White is halfway there, in the words of a famous song. He's in once more. Banton. It's not going to be a maiden because he cut that behind square. And it's going to race to the boundary. There's nothing Gareth Delaney can do about that. And a lovely, effortless stroke from Banton moves him on to 9. And England have reached the century, 103 for 3 in the 11th over. Chasing 155.
Was your sort of thought of a maiden there? Did that cause the
possibly
fourth ball to be hit for 4?
I'm sure you don't get too many maidens in international T20 cricket. Not sure how many Ben White has had. He's in once more. Banton again just pushing that out on the offside. Again, Delaney's the man fielding, but they'll race through for a second and make it quite comfortably.
Talking about maidens, I was talking to Ed Joyce about T20 cricket there on Wednesday, and I sort of was reminiscing about an Ireland game a number of years ago, and I think it was against Oman, and I think the first over in Ireland chase was indeed a maiden. I won't
who was it?
I won't spill the beans. That's a bit unfair on the batsman, but Ed was actually playing that game, he said.
Last ball of the over. Dabbed away, deflected behind square on the offside. Has it got enough pace to reach the rope? A despairing chase by Barry McCarthy, who leaps over the boards. I hope he hasn't done himself an injury. He was nearly into the big screen there, the big fella. They did get the 4 runs, and at the end of the over it started so well, but England now easing their way to victory, and they're 109 for 3. Cox has moved on to 40, and Banton very quickly has made his way to 15 off 11.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate there by Ben White there. It wasn't a bad delivery to finish the over. Just took the face of the bat off and then fly down to the third man. Obviously with the pace that he bowls at, that's always a bit of a concern for Ireland, because he does bowl a bit quicker.
It's going to be Humphreys moving to the castle end. No wicket for 23 off his 3 overs so far. England need 46 to win off 54 deliveries.
Yeah, surprised not to see Delaney bowl at this stage. He bowled very well for Ireland the other day, bowled 2 overs I think for 14. Was one of the brighter sparks with the ball, so he might be saying it could be too late by the time I come on to bowl here.
But such is the sort of paucity of Irish resources in men's cricket that you take away the likes of Little, Ann Adair, Mark Adair, they're definitely missed. Humphreys in from the castle end, running towards us, and that's down the leg side. A half-hearted appeal by Lorcan Tucker. That's signalled wide in the end. Cox didn't touch the ball. 1 more to the England total.
Humphreys still begging with the umpire. It's not often that international cricket wide rescinded.
No.
I don't know if chatting to the umpire is going to help him.
Some umpire Hawthorne at the far end. Paul Stirling's having a Penrith as well.
They are indeed, actually. Looks like they're going to have a look for something.
Did he touch it?
Was there a clip on the pad? Are we reviewing the way?
Oh, there's reviewing the way, a possible clip on the pan. The voice of Christmas past, Cal McCallan, coming in to the commentary shed. He's never too far away.
I mean, we talk about the third umpire. He's the third commentator who's just popped in from nowhere.
The fifth umpire, yes.
He always did, to be fair. One thing I will say about Kyle McCallum,
Right.
whenever you took the field, you had two umpires and you had Kyle. He was
Right.
very much the third umpire.
Really?
A bit like the great Alan Lewis. There was Kyle
Right.
McCallum, Alan Lewis and Matt Dwyer. There were three guys in Irish cricket who I would have said would
I
have
think-
liked to umpired.
I think it did maybe just clip the... We're going to see the ultra edge for a clip of the pad to remove the wide. Yes, there you are. A run saved. That's the wide is going to be wiped out.
I feel as if I've never seen that in cricket. The umpire
Reviewing a wide.
reviewing a wide. That's good skills by Matthew Humphreys. He talked him into it.
Yeah, persuaded the skipper to the truthfulness. Yes, there's going to be if that run turns out to be vital. Hats off to Humphreys and Sterling.
Man of the match, Humphreys.
109 for 3 still. Humphreys is in. That's definitely off Jordan Cox's bat, and it's pushed out the onside, and Humphreys feels himself no run. A quiet lull around the ground. I think some of the chilliness is coming into the box here. It's a cool September afternoon. North County Dublin's Humphreys in. That's a full toss and played away, driven straight to long off by Jordan Cox, who ambles down on that sore knee of his, and he moves on to 41. We're going to see some of the movement that Matthew Humphreys is finding today in Malahide. There's a series of replays. Were you still around the days of video analysis, Greg? Were your performances analysed on VHS tapes back in the day?
VHS certainly was about.
Betamax, possibly?
Betamax, yeah, exactly.
Humphreys is in. That's pushed down the track by Banton, no run.
Yeah, DVDs then.
Somebody crueler than me might have said cine film, but I wouldn't say that.
No, we certainly did do the odd time a bit of video analysis, but certainly it's a huge part of the game today.
45 to win off 50 England. Down the track goes Banton, smashes that down the ground. There's a race across the field by Tector. He does very well, cuts them down to just the one. He's a real athlete, Tector, isn't he? Moves well, feels well.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. I mean, he moves really well across the field.
England on to Nelson, 111 for 3. Banton giving himself room coming down the track. Cox now on 41. Remember, he's hampered slightly by that sore knee that he suffered taking the catch in the Ireland innings. Humphreys is in, and that's a false shot by Cox. Slices it away, where it's fielded by the man at the whitish fourth slip, and that was Ben White. False shot, finishing the over at the end of the 12th over. Cox is on 41 from 27, Banton 16 from 10. White, no wicket for 25 of his 2 overs so far. Greg Mullins is going to make way, with England needing 44 to win of 48 deliveries, 7 wickets in hand. And sports journalist, writes for the Sunday Times. He's written some terrific books, including one in cooperation with Johnny Sexton, who you might have heard of. Has been winning lots of plaudits. Obsessed, doing very well for you, Peter O'Reilly. Do you know Johnny Sexton more than his own family know him now?
Well, we did get to know each other reasonably well, yeah. It was quite a long process, but very enjoyable and interesting to get inside the mind of an elite sportsman.
England needing just 44 to win off 40 at Banton's on 16, and deflects that wide of slip, and that's going to slide all the way through for 4 runs. It has the feel of the dying embers of this game, hasn't it?
It does.
Unless there's something astonishing happening.
Yeah.
4 runs off the bowling of Ben White.
I think whatever pressure Ireland had built up sort of dissipated in over number 8. Ben White's first over went for 20, I think, and that just took any pressure away. And but
simply don't have enough runs to play with.
Yes, but I've been really impressed by the way these 2 young-ish England batters have played.
Banton waiting for it, forcing it out in the onside for the single. Tector rushing in from the boundary, and they walk through for that one more run.
We've been we've been talking about a potentially a two-paced pitch and nobody being able to bat that fluently. Even Phil Salt was not his normal explosive self,
No.
but Cox and Banton have just timed the ball beautifully.
Cox 41 off 27, 39 off 46. White tosses himself a catch. He's in from the village end. He drops that short, and that's pulled away, and that'll be 4 runs right in front of the commentary box. Nothing Harry Tector could do about it. Not the greatest of deliveries from Ben White, and dispatched by Cox, who's approaching his 50.
Sadly, not the first drag down.
No.
From Ben White today, for a guy who must be 6'3", 6'4", really doesn't use his height. Bowls from a very low position. And occasionally today, and he's probably a little bit short of top level cricket experience recently.
He's in once more, driven on the offside on this occasion. That'll be a single out to that's Camphor in the boundary.
What you noticed about England was Ben White's last over, his second was a better over. He started with 3 dots, but Banton was able to plunder runs for the last 3 balls.
Cox 46, Banton 21. He's on strike 121 for 3. 34 off 44 for England. Banton, little crouch, drives in the offside, and that's a good stop. No run.
It is quite a crouching stance, isn't it?
It is. Matthew Humphreys with a piece of fielding there. Interesting to see the England players live. You pick up so many more bits of their body language as Banton tries to carve that away on the offside. Doesn't make a great connection with it. End of the over. No wicket for 35 off Ben White. Banton 21, Cox 46, England 34 required of 42, 121 for 3. The towel is on.
I think we're back to pace at the castle end.
Yeah, the helmet, Lorcan Tucker's helmet's being taken off the field of play.
Matthew Humphrey's spell is over, 4 overs for 25. Very respectable figures that from the 22-year-old from Dublin University and Lisburn.
There you are. Covers many bases. Yeah, it'll be, because there's been such a lack of cricket for the Ireland men's senior team, there'll be plenty of analysis of these 2 games, accentuating the positive. Possibly the batting performance from Wednesday. More disappointing today, possibly a better England bowling performance. McCarthy's back on, and that's cracked away, but to the disgust of Jordan Cox, not the outcome he was looking for. No run.
Yeah, he's looking for some chalk for the top of his cue there. I think he just got it right on the toe end of the bat. Slower ball to open up with from Barry McCarthy.
1 for 12 of his 2 overs so far. McCarthy bowling from the castle end in the sunshine this chilly autumnal day in Malahide. Cox needs a boundary for his 50, and I think he's certainly going to get it now, because he's cleared the fielder, the mid-wicket boundary. The umpire's arms go up, and that's a brilliant 50 from Jordan Cox. 52 off 31. Beautiful 6.
Yeah, just a lovely pick up towards that short boundary. What's really impressed me about Cox has been just his hands. He's beautifully soft hands, but he manages to achieve real bat speed at the point of impact. He's been hobbling between the wickets after that injury he suffered in the field, but I think when you're depositing the ball over mid-wicket for 6, it doesn't really matter.
4 4s, 4 6s for Jordan Cox, 52 not out. McCarthy's in once more, and that's a beautiful square cut to Callets, who lets it bounce into his chest. Just the 1 run. Callets has fielded well. He looked lively and bright.
I think he'll have enjoyed his international debut. A couple of nice shots in his innings.
Yep. He certainly looked pleased as punch to be awarded his Ireland T20 cap before the start of play. Banton now has been brought on to strike. 21 off 14 so far. England 27 required off 39. McCarthy, big mop of blonde hair, drops it short, pulled away by Banton. Didn't quite make the connection. Hit it square on the onside, and it's just going to be the one run for the tall man. 98 on his back.
I think it's telling that he probably got onto that ball a bit too soon.
Slow pitch.
The reason that he didn't time it perfectly. One of the few shots that he hasn't timed.
Cox now 53 off 32. He really has looked a class act for England. He just required 26 for victory. McCarthy into Cox. Bottom hand comes off the bat, but he's pulled that away behind square on the leg side for a single.
Slower bouncer works again for McCarthy there. Takes a bit of nerve to go for the slower ball bouncer after you've been pucked over mid wicket, I think. In the same over.
130 for 3 in the 14th over. I don't think there's any doubt about the result of this match. England doing a really professional job after losing a few early-ish wickets. Banton helps away with the full shot nearly into the waiting hands, and the attempt at the stumps as well. Either way, they come through for the single. And that was Ben White who nearly affected the run out, and it was nearly into his hands originally. He got away with that, did Banton?
I think Barry McCarthy sort of got away with it a little bit as well after being hit for 6 off the second ball of the over. He went for 4 singles after that, but really Ireland need more than that. They need something miraculous at this point. But
131 for 3 off 14, 24 to win off 36 deliveries, Banton 23, Cox 54. And Delaney finally coming on at the village end.
I think what this series needed, given the the difference in preparation between the sides, was for England to play below their best and for Ireland to play considerably above their best, and we got a little bit of that on Wednesday. But I think England have reacted well. I think their coaching team will be happy with the fact that they've lifted their performance with their out cricket especially, and the batting has been fairly controlled after a few wobbles.
Ireland's final spin option, Gareth Delaney, who took 1 for 13 off his 2 overs, and he's been hoisted away on the just in front of mid wicket for a single. Dropped that one slightly short and pulled away by Banton for 1 run. Banton 24, Cox 54, 132 for 3. Cox is on strike. 23 required for victory. Delaney's in. Straight drive, a gentle shuffle down the pitch by Jordan Cox, who still is feeling that the pain of that knee. 1 more to him, 1 more to England. So they're just gently strolling to the win in Malahide, winning the series 2-0 with 1 washout. Delaney into Banton. Banton down the track, driving straight. It's going to be 1 bounce, I think, into the rope, 2 bounces into the rope, and that's a lovely straight driven 4 by Big Tom Banton.
Very controlled shot down the pitch. Never tried to hit the ball too hard. Again, it shows you that these England players they're playing proper cricket shots. They don't need to take any risks.
Lovely shot by Banton. In by Delaney. Banton's up, he's gone aerial. Ross Adair's underneath it. He's not going to get to it. It almost plugs in the outfield. They come back for 2. 137 for 3, 139 for 3, 16 to win off 32. Banton moves on to 30 from 19.
A minor win for the bowler there. He definitely deceived Banton in the flight. Well bowled, Gareth Delaney.
Let's see if Banton comes down the track again. He feints too, but instead plays that defensively back to the bowler. Crowd here, well, I think there's a few have exited their seats. Maybe they're a bit chilly, but maybe they've gone to imbibe something warm. Delaney into Banton, and again push forward back to the bowler.
Change of action there from Gareth Delaney.
None for 8 off Delaney's opening over. Banton 30, Cox 53, 16 to win off 30, 139 for 3 England.
Yeah, if there is a general migration towards the far end of the ground, Michael, may well be, because that's where the beer tents are situated.
Yeah, there's certainly more spectators going towards the exits. I think that it's a fait accompli here. 16 to win off 30 with 7 wickets in hand, England. And Jordan Cox certainly has been the class act, the headline act in this batting performance. Yeah, there's more and more people drifting away, as we're about to see Ben White from the far end, the castle end.
Yeah, I think it's important for Ireland's spinners to get as many overs in as possible. The fair possibility that they will do quite a bit of the work, the bowling work, when we get to the T20 World Cup in India.
No wicket for 35 from his opening 3 overs, Ben White. And he's coming in and bowling to Cox, who's in 55. And he's bowled him! Huge roar from the Irish spectators left in the ground. It's a little personal battle won by Ben White, as Cox goes for 55.
Yeah, probably one of the first times that Ben White has given the ball some air. He's got a bit of purchase, a little bit of turn, ball straightened, and
hit the top of middle stump.
Yeah, Jordan Cox probably caught in 2 minds there. Thought about cutting, then thought about driving off the back foot, and ended up doing neither.
55 off 35, 4 4s and 4 6s, Jordan Cox.
Lovely innings.
I think he's going to go in and rest and maybe get some treatment on that troublesome knee. So Cox is not going to see England home to victory. And Ben White has got his opening wicket. That's the first time Ireland have found the stumps. Well, no, there was that other dismissal on Wednesday when Rian Ahmed was bowled by Delaney. So Ireland, the stumps for only the second time in this series. Rian Ahmed is the new batter, and England needs 16 off 29. Banton still there on 30. There's a slip in for Rian Ahmed, who pushes that behind square on the onside, scampers through the single. I think they're going to be able to come back for the second. Yes, they are. So Ahmed is off the mark with 2. 14 required.
Even though there's not much pressure, this is probably not one of the more enjoyable jobs, when you're expected to come in and finish the job.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you get out. Rian Ahmed drives, attempted drive, he didn't hit that cleanly. There's no run. What's the producers? The producer's even beginning to de-rig the commentary shed. He thinks it's a foregone conclusion. He's English after all. What would he know? 14 to win off 27. 141 for 4 in the 16th over. Ben White 1 for 37 so far. This is final over. Ahmed steps back and cuts that for the single, fielded by Ireland new boy Ben Callett. Not the greatest throw. Bounces into the ground, into the winning gloves of Lorcan Tucker, and they scamper through for the single. 142 for 4. Remember, 155 the target. 13 off 26 required. Ben White running towards us into Banton. Pushes that out square of the wicket for a single. Don't think there are going to be any fireworks here. England lost a few unnecessary wickets on Wednesday as they made their way to victory. Ahmed's back on strike. 3 off 3. And White's final delivery. Ben White's in, drops it short, pulled away on the onside. That's over the head of fielder Humphreys and taken by the man on the boundary and pinged in for the single. So at the end of that over, 4 overs left, 11 needed off 24 deliveries. And Ben White finishes with figures here. He got the 1 wicket to fall. I think that was 1 for
40.
1 for 40. Good man. Somebody's keeping an eye on the scoreboard.
Well, when you consider that he went for 20, I think, off his first over, that is a bit of a salvage operation from Ben White.
11 needed. And Peter O'Reilly, I think we'll say cheerio to him. Continued success with his journalism and his writing. and he's going to be replaced for the man who I think is going to see England home. Not a phrase he probably would relish. Cal McCallan's back. Ahmed's on strike. And Delaney is bowling, and that's a wide delivery, and I think a very generous piece of umpiring by umpire Seaver not to stick the two arms out there.
It's good to be back, Michael. I thought for a period of time
you weren't going to be reappearing. Delaney is into Ahmed. He's dropped that one short, and Ahmed has thrashed that away straight for 4. And England now just require 7 for victory.
I think I would. England have played very well. They play very positively and they
very professionally.
And they put the bowlers under pressure. But I think Ireland will be disappointed again with some of the spells of bowling that we've witnessed today.
That's pushed away on the offside by Rian Ahmed. Happy with the single. He moves on to 9. And it's just 6 required off 21 deliveries. Banton on 31. Would he entertain us by going for the big strike to win the match, Tom Banton?
Well, I was going to say the sign of a very good player is somebody's on 31 off 22, and he's hardly played a shot, so to speak.
Just pushing forward, Banton.
He's played extremely well.
A dot ball. We'll ask Cal McCallan to pick out the positives on both the sides today. From what we've seen, he's down the track, Banton. He's going to get 4 on the offside, and England now just 2 away from victory.
Great hands.
35 Banton.
Didn't quite get there, just kept the shape through the hands, through the ball. Gareth Delaney has bowled nicely, he hasn't bowled many bad balls.
Did he come on too late?
Arguably, but Tom Banton has batted beautifully. He's 35 at 24.
Last ball of the over, 2 required for victory. And pushed out on the offside for a single, so the scores are now level. Banton on 36 from 25, and that's the end of the 17th over. Ben White 1 for 40 off his 4 overs. And the stands really do begin to empty. 1 more needed for victory for England. And at least we have seen a full match today. Cal McCallan, what are you thinking about the positives that Ireland can take from this series?
Well, certainly Gareth Delaney's a big positive today. I think the fact that Ireland almost scored 200 in the first game, and the fact I suppose they showed something today to get to 154. I think the difference in the two sides has just been the quality of the spin bowling. Actually, Liam Dawson and Adil Rashid in particular. Even though Liam Dawson only bowled 2 overs, and again the height and the pace of Jamie Overton, Ireland, I couldn't fault the effort and some of the execute, but it's a capacity issue almost, and a capability, not in terms of skill but in terms of the physical capability of it.
You got to remember that this is not an England T20 A team.
No, it's not, but it's a strong England side, and They've outplayed it. They've outplayed Ireland in all 3 facets today.
Craig Young is back from the Castle end, and that's pushed out on the onside, and that's the England victory. Banton with the single to win it. He finishes on 37 from 26. Ahmed 9 from 7. A winning margin for England. They've won this third match by 6 wickets with 17 balls remaining. 155 for 4. At the start of the 18th over, and Craig Young finishes with figures of 2.1 overs, 1 for 21. Mission completed. Congratulations to England. And of the batters we saw wearing red today, Jordan Cox caught the eye, didn't he, Cal McCallan?
He was outstanding. Considering the fact that he was clearly struggling with a sore knee, I thought he just timed the ball really well, played very confidently off both front and back foot. And didn't really look to getting out until he got a good one from Ben White. That alongside, Phil Salt, the early loss of Josh Butler, and the fact that England coped so easily with that, they'll be very pleased. A strong workout for them, and a series victory.
And in terms of England, has anybody put their names into the ring? We talk about Jordan Cox. Bethel's captaincy has impressed over 2 matches, is it?
They like him. It's plain that he's somebody that the English management really rate. I just think Liam Dawson's a quality cricketer, to be honest with you. He's a very notable guy, whether it's for Hampshire or for England. He's never really let them down. And the truth of the matter is, England have quality, and the depth that they have compared to the depth in the Irish ranks. And this has been a useful exercise for Ireland. Without Mark Adair, without Josh Little, and so on, it's tested a little bit. And Ben Callett is a bit of a positive for me today. I thought he came in and he looked positive, and he tried hard. And Ireland will take a lot from this series, but fundamentally, in order to keep progressing, they've got to play more cricket.
And what cricket Ireland have coming up between now and February and March in the T20 World Cup?
I'm honestly not 100% sure at this stage, Michael. I would like to check. I'm sure there'll be a programme in place. There's no doubt about that. And I think going to the subcontinent, as they're going to be going, they'll be wanting to train and prepare in those conditions. There may well be camps in India or Dubai and so on. But listen, this has been a useful workout for them. There's no doubt about that. And there are positives that they'll take from it.
And this England performance, I mean, we've heard so much about the amount of cricket that they have to play, but the fact that they can effectively name pretty much a totally different squad and still look like class act.
Well, I'm minded a little bit about, you see Liverpool in the Premier League and the depth they have and the amount of money they have on the bench, and the competition for places is key to driving up performance. And every time you put on that England shirt, if there's somebody breathing down your neck, so for example Jordan Cox has put his hand up today, others have put their hands up, and that drives forward competition. There's no question about that. So you always have to be playing your very best in order to maintain and keep your place in the side.
And we're in this odd situation where Irish cricket fans, obviously in a situation like this in white ball cricket, they're cheering for Ireland. Come the Ashes, they'd be supporting England, won't they? A lot of them.
A lot of them will. I know I will be. And the Ashes down under is going to be a very, it's a different place to go, I'd imagine. It's a stern test. But listen, that's the beauty of the game that we all love. And I'm not one of these people that likes to see, as an Irishman, I like to see the home nations doing very well, except when they're playing against us.
And I mean the memorable moment, the champagne moment, if you want to talk it in those terms, that brilliant catch by Curtis Camphor to dismiss Josh Butler for a 2-ball duck.
As good as you'll see in the game. That's Jonty Rhodes-esque. His body shape, the way he went down, it went in so cleanly. It was a wonderful catch. I think we used to have ASPN Play of the Day, isn't that what it was? So I think that will get down as Play of the Day.
And no surprise that Curtis Camphor is currently being interviewed on TV. I'm sure he's talking about that catch that he took to dismiss Josh Butler. I'll read you out the England card. The first wicket to go down was that dismissal of Butler in the second over. Butler was caught. Camphor bowled McCarthy for a 2-ball duck. That was a score 10-1. That became 33-2 with skipper Jacob Bethel dismissed. He was caught Delaney off the bowling of Young for 15 off 11 deliveries. Phil Salt went with a score on 90 for 3. Salt edged to Tucker off the bowling of Curtis Camphor for a 23-ball 29, included 2 4s and a 6. Jordan Cox's impressive half-century was ended with a lovely delivery by Ben White. Cox bowled White for 55 off 35 deliveries. That included 4 4s and 4 6s. The score was 139 for 4 at that stage. And then England's victory was eased through by Tom Brandon. Tom Bandon's impressive 37 not out of 26 deliveries, included 6 4s, and Rian Ahmed, he contributed a 4 in his 9 not out. There were 10 extras. England won 55 for 4 off 17.1. No maidens in the Ireland bowling figures. Matthew Humphreys, 4 overs, no wicket for 25. Barry McCarthy, 3 overs, 1 for 22. Craig Young, 2.1 overs, 1 for 21. Curtis Camphor, 2 overs, 1 for 24. Ben White bowled the full complement, 4 overs, 1 wicket for 40. And Gareth Delaney, 2 overs, no wicket for 18. And this should have been a one-day series back in June. It was shifted to a T20 series in September. Not ideal if you're a cricket fan with a son or a daughter of school age, but this is where Ireland are at.
Yeah, sometimes we have to dance to the tune of others, and that's the unfortunate nature of the game currently. I wouldn't want to glaze over Matthew Humphrey's spell today. Matthew Humphrey put 4 overs for 25 and was very unlucky not to pick up a few wickets, to be honest. To take the new ball in the power play and I thought he looked a threat throughout. So listen, it's far from ideal. From an Irish point of view, to have an ODI series in the middle of our summer would have been a real crowd puller, and more so than that, an opportunity just to get more cricket under the belts of the Irish boys. But listen, that's the nature of bilateral series at this time, and beggars can't be choosers.
Does it feel as if Irish cricket's a sort of a strange sort of limbo at the minute? We're waiting maybe for a permanent CEO, the starting of the work at Abbottstown, and just this lack of cricket. It's been an unsatisfactory summer if you're a fan of the men's team.
There's no question it's been unsatisfactory. How much of that is at the hands of Cricket Ireland and how much is that at the behest of others? It's interesting. There was a lot of conversation recently about the nature of the World Test Championship and is it an appropriate form? But what's at play there? England, India and Australia want to play matches against one another, and they can't risk that not happening, and therefore those bilateral series have an impact on everything else in the game. And
is this European Premier League maybe involving Scotland and the Netherlands and possibly other countries further down the line? Is that a big deal for Ireland?
It is a big deal for Ireland because again it's an opportunity for the best T20 and white ball cricketers in Ireland to play against better opposition for more periods of time. I think it'll be a great thing for the best players in Scotland and in Holland as well.
Is it going to happen?
Well, we've been waiting on it happening now for a number of years.
Pre-COVID.
For lots of reasons it hasn't, Michael. And unfortunately this summer I think the hope was that it was going to be there and the space was left for it. And then when it didn't happen there was nothing to fill that void. But the mood music seems to be much more positive with regards to next year. But listen, we've been there before. But ultimately the cricket calendar now is a 12-month calendar, and arguably given the weather in Ireland, sometimes it's a safer bet to play more cricket away from home. It's certainly a cheaper bet to play more cricket away from home than it is at home when the financial restrictions that are placed on Cricket Ireland. And
you don't want Ireland though to be the sort of travelling international cricket team of the world, do you?
Well, we want to make cricket mainstream in Ireland, and you can't be mainstream when the general public here don't get to see you often enough. It's as simple as that. And with the growth of other games and the growth of other sports, it's imperative that the cricketing public in Ireland get to see their role models and get that desire to want to play for both the men's and the women's teams.
Well, Cal McCallan, would you have ambitions? I know you've got a plate full as an educator and a school principal. Would you have any ambitions to get sucked into either administration or coaching or play a role? All your years of experience in the white shirt and the green jersey.
Funny, it was something I never thought of. I would never say never. Cricket has been my life. It has been a massive part of my life, and perhaps if the opportunity arose down the road, who knows? What at my age, I would love to still contribute to cricket in Ireland.
You're a young man.
But I would love to be able to contribute to cricket in Ireland in some way, shape or form. But I'm passionate about my own job at the moment. There's an opportunity to shape lives there in a wonderful school in Lurgan, and I'm very fortunate to be there. So there's no push factor. Let's just put it that way.
Well, it's lovely to have you in the comedy box today, Cal McCallan. Absolute delight. Former Ireland captain Cal McCallan. Thanks to him. Thanks to Peter O'Reilly. Thanks also to Greg Mullins. Thanks to Amy Hunter for coming in and chatting to us at the break. Thanks to everybody in Cricket Ireland for sorting us out with commentary facilities, and everybody who made this what turned out to be a 2-match series such a success. And we hope for further days like this on the island of Ireland. Good luck to the Ireland women's team, and of course good luck to England in the forthcoming Ashes series. A squad is just about to be announced, thanks to producer Hayden Parry and to our other commentators who contributed on Wednesday and Friday. My name's Michael McNamee. As we see Paul Sterling being interviewed and probably picking out the positives, it's congratulations to England under their youngest ever international men's captain Jacob Bethell. A 2-0 victory in this series, and they take the Token Phi Trophy. Hopefully we'll speak to you about Irish cricket at some other stage on the BBC from all the team here at, I'm not going to say sun-drenched, but a dry Malahide. Congratulations to England, and thanks for listening from everybody here in the Comedy Shed. Bye-bye.